Hello, Internet. Cayce here. I'm going to keep this brief, but I've been pretty terrible about this project ever since life threw me a curveball, and I kind of revamped it and then put it down again for a couple months, and then I think I've had this episode actually edited and scanned for all of its segments since like maybe August. And after I got to that point, I guess I just, you put it in your mind that it's work, and it's not work. I really enjoy it. And when I'm fresh off the episodes, like the first 4 or 5 that I did, I edit them and get them published relatively quick. And, because it's fresh in my mind and I'm excited about it. But then when I do these projects and they just sit around, I have to I consider it work. There's no reward for it. I already got my reward by enjoying the conversation. So I digress. More to come. I have 2 in the bag right now, and I'm going to get this train rolling because I really love this project, and I like talking, and I like talking to people I know, and maybe more clients to come too. So this episode was me and my one best friend, Alex, that I've known since early middle school, and the other guest is Jake again, who attended, and I don't remember why he made it on again, but he did, and so all 3 of us get to banter and ramble on about various things. Hope you enjoy.
Then I'll probably just get rid of these all together.
2-fisted, homie. Just a little bit closer. That's all.
Okay.
You don't have to lean in. You can bring it closer to you.
Right, I got you.
That's why I said just two-fisted. Wherever you find yourself comfortable the most,
I got
just
you.
bring it a little bit more in. Because if you're going to lean back, that's fine. He's comfortable, I'm comfortable.
The VA is the same way. They got rid of the smoking grounds a while back, and it's that kind of puts a damper on the whole thing,
Right.
Have to go outside in the rain and the snow and the fucking nice ass weather. I mean, yeah, that's cool, but
that's how they are at work where I'm at too. Is as soon as it hit, they were no vaping, because there's air pathogen and you're vaping and all you're creating a moisture environment. So everybody would step outside real quick and chief it, or they would just walk into the corner or something, But that's what he does. He walks outside, and I got him into vaping. I got almost a dozen. I almost got a dozen people under my belt off of cigarettes onto vapes. And right now it's hard to say whether it's a step forward or not. I'm going to say a step forward because of the carcinogen count. So maybe these aren't necessarily good for you over 20 years, but it's astronomically better than a cigarette.
Well, yeah, exactly.
So,
cigarette, yeah.
Well, because here's the thing. They always say, older people. Well, you don't know what's in them. I'm like, well, we know what's in cigarettes and chewing tobacco.
Yeah.
So it's...
I would rather take a chance on something different.
If it's a modest...
Keep on the same old
if it's a modest
100%.
improvement from hard liquor to beer, you calm down a little bit.
Yeah.
But I got a guy who was dipping... I don't know if it's necessarily better, but this guy was dipping... He was doing 2 cans a day, upper and lower horseshoes, and then I got him on vaping, and he I think he rips to this day, he's really into it. And he's an old timer too, and he rips 32s and stuff on a big tank like I had. He's his nicotine ceiling is really high,
right?
But he's not taking chewing tobacco and smoking cigarettes while chewing, so he's thanks man. But anyways, he's one of those guys, and he's I love vaping because he's the people that vape love it, and the people that don't vape hate it. And he's I love both of that. He's I piss people off, and I can have a conversation. And he'll go outside, and he has Instagram pictures of him blowing big ass clouds and stuff. He's a full cloud chaser.
wow.
to this day.
I mean, it is weird seeing an old-headed cloud chaser because I've seen him. Well,
he's only
the cheaper
44
ones.
maybe.
But I mean, still.
Dude, I got him.
Some of them get the blues or whatever, the cheaper ones. But
So the go-to rod I was
or
giving
something
everybody
like
was the I forget the company, but it was a 60-watt box, like the one that I have at the house.
It's probably the one that you got me.
With a little
my first
Aspire
time.
2. Probably, yeah. It's just a simple box, 60 watts. It gets everybody into it, and it's cheap. So what I was doing was I was buying it for, I think it was overhead was $40 or something like that. It was real cheap. There was enough. It was good enough to get people to do it, but it wasn't expensive. It wasn't $100, $120, $160 setup because at the time nobody knew about vape values and stuff. So they'd go in and people would give them these vapes for $150 and stuff. I'm like, no. Vape NW. And I think I'd buy it for $50, and I'd be like, here, take it, try it for a week. If you like it, and you stick with it, give me $30. I'd take a hit on it. Cool. Now you're not smoking cigarettes, and I've done it to a dozen people. And a couple of them are a product of it, and
But he went from like that to I had an IPv4, which was like a 150 watt box with like a 90 watt tank and blowing big clouds. And then he progressed up. And then at one point he went into RDAs, which really blow clouds. They're open coils, no tank.
Are those the ones you got to
cotton.
build, right?
Yeah, well, no, you build it and then you fill it with the cotton. And he was like, whoa. And so I was showing him my RDA and he was like, I'm going to get one of those. And he did and got it like wrapped and stuff at the place. And he took his 32 nicotine. RDAs are real potent hits compared to like a tank. And so he dripped his 32 on it, took 2 big lungfuls. He instantly got cold sweats and was on the toilet. And I was like, yeah, when you do RDAs, you only need like 6 nicotines the max, dude, because it's a big cloud. It's not like this little thing. It's like 4x that. So
It's a monster cloud.
Yep. So welcome, Alex Johnson, to Chapter Collective. Jake, second time guest, another 3-peat back to back. But
Heck yeah.
Yeah, we're here today on a lovely July 2nd, 2021. We're going to talk about some things, have a good time. Nicotine is the first one of discussion. You're a full-timer though now, right?
Full-time or what?
Full-time nicotine?
Yeah, now you're at work, you're like, F it, I can vape while I'm at work. So
Well, I got used to them now again at home. I didn't, for the longest time, I wouldn't smoke cigarettes or anything at home, even when I smoked cigarettes. But then with those, they're a little bit easier at the house.
Yeah, because they don't stain the walls. And
well, it's Allie mostly. She hates cigarettes, and plus, I did lose 2 grandmas to it. So after a while, it's like,
yeah, and it's crazy. I had a conversation with on a prior episode, unreleased to this point, because shit, that one got recorded in the beginning of March. I've just gone through life. I've gone through life and
life
put a lot of
maybe.
things on the side, and I've looked at it.
Life is happening.
And so I've decided, it was within the last week, that I was going to upload it without doing snippets of it, because I've come so far from it that I forgot where snippets were and the way that one happened, blah, 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 it doesn't matter. We talked about that, and then the interesting concept of the forbidden fruit, and that people that like grow up with things they're not allowed to have access to sometimes dive into the things hard that they don't have access to. And the quick joke was the Christian girls that are like suppressed sexually, so they're like freaks, they're like 50 Shades of Grey people. But I like referenced that to but like both my parents smoked cigarettes when I was growing up, and my mom and my dad are both stoners, and like I'm not like frugally diving into either of those categories because I don't really care. It's not me. I wasn't like, the forbidden fruit, things you can't have, you want. So to this day, I have yet to this day, I've never butted a cigarette. I have so many offered to me, and I've never really like craved nicotine when someone was offering it to me. And even if I was, because I was like, I don't know, my vape. And like Mikey would have his cigarette, and I'd be like, nah, like I just don't. They're nasty. Like I grew up in a nasty environment, and my dad's house is like you can't go into his house for more than 15 minutes without leaving smelling like that environment. And so like I'm just, it's cool. That's supposed to be, it isn't the forbidden fruit, but I didn't want it. Some people have that forbidden fruit in their life, so.
Well, mine, it wasn't forbidden fruit with it. It was just, I started being out in the woods more and stuff like that, and people just chewed. So I started chewing.
I did some chewing.
I started chewing
Chewing's
probably
fine.
when I was like 11, 12 is when I started chewing.
No, I think mine was like 17.
Yeah,
The first
so
time.
like-
I got a good first dip story. You got a good first dip story?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, well, let me hear it.
So first dip story, I was down at the creek out in Avonia fishing.
Yep.
So it was
I've been there with you.
And first dip ever was Skull Crisp. I still remember it. It was apple and peach mix or something. It's gross. I can't touch it now. Absolutely disgusting.
Because of that day, or just because now you're like too sweet?
Partially because of that day, but too sweet. I just don't like the sweet with my chew. But
Gotcha.
I'm more of just the natural, just tobacco.
There's a little tobacco,
flavor.
a little bit of earth,
Yeah, I mean the most flavor I'd go is Copenhagen Straight, which is like a little
You
bit.
call
of
that
sugar
morph?
taste.
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Okay. Well, let me go after him because I got a Cope Straight story. But carry on.
But so Skull Crisp. So I was down there. I threw in they're like, holy shit, you shouldn't have thrown that much in. Big ol' honker. And then all of a sudden, it hit me.
Spinning.
Oh, I was like, oh shit, this is my first nicotine buzz. I'm like, holy fuck. I can see why people do this all the time. I'm like, holy shit, I feel drunk.
It's a drug.
Yeah, I was like, this is amazing. Well, like I said, I had a little bit too big in. And then I was good for like the first, 5, 6 spits. 7th one, I hooked into a fish and I swallowed.
Oh no!
That was the most depressing fish I've ever gotten in because I spit it out as I'm getting it in. It ended up being like a small brown trout.
I'm getting a suppressed gag reflex right now.
Oh yeah, I mean first dip ever, and you swallow it.
Oh
it
man,
burned all the way down. You can feel the fucking yeah. It was
Feffy's flying down after it.
oh yeah.
I'm getting like a suppressed gag reflex right now. Oh my god,
terrible. Yeah,
dude, I haven't had it.
It's been so long,
Dude, oh my god.
yeah. So
You got it in though?
yeah,
I got it. It's finished.
Yeah,
Finished
I
strong.
got it in. It was a tiny little like 4 or 5 inch.
And you were like, I
trout.
worked harder for that than I
Right,
needed
so
to.
I had to put it back anyways, but I left it on the hook and I just hurled everything, all I had in my stomach out. Right into the fucking stream going downstream at least, so we weren't standing next to it.
Wow.
And then after that day, I was hooked.
Yeah. Okay. So my first, let me be a little bit more descriptive, but my first dip story was, yeah, everybody's like doing dip through high school and stuff. I'm like, whatever. Like, I'm not even like drawn to it, but I don't remember why, but I was driving in my Miata with my cousin. Probably like 17, you know, the Molly the Miata. And I was like, I don't know, fuck it. I'm 18. I'll go buy a thing of dip. I said 17, but I was 18. I went and bought a thing of dip, 18 or 19. Well, it was after, I got my Miata after my graduation party this August of, August. So I would have been 18. August, I mean, I'm just going to imagine it was sometime in that late year, but I already graduated. And I got a burp brewing. Excuse me.
Perfect.
I wanted to
Good
coming out
quality.
like mid-word, you know? So, I don't know. I was just like, hey, like, I'm going to try it. You know, like, everybody does it for a reason. And so I was like, I don't really know what to get when I walked in, but I always knew everybody chewed Cope Straight. So I was like, I'm just going to buy, you know, like, whatever. Like, it's got to, you know, it's like the choice. Like, everybody drinks Jack Daniels, so it's got to be like a decent liquor, you know?
Well, it has high nicotine content. That's why.
Yeah, that's probably why. But I didn't know that. And my cousin was with me. He was like 16. I don't forget how young Jared is compared to me. He's probably like 3 or 4 years, but it doesn't matter. So I was like, all right, I'll go. I'm going to get a can of Cope Straight, ID, but whatever about it. And then so I got out in the car, and it's kind of the same thing. I was like, all right, well, like, you know, like I did like an inch pinch, you know, like packed it and then did an inch pinch. I was like, I don't know. That's what I usually see. Threw it in. And I pulled out of the co-fair on 12th and Peninsula. And I pulled out on the west side of that co-fair and pulled into Peninsula. And I was like, oh, you know, my little Miata and pulled up to the light. And like as soon as I stopped, like immediately it was like, whoa, like it's kind of buzzing, you know? And I was like, all right, well, I had a water bottle. And I was like getting kind of saliva-y in there, you know, because I got something in my mouth. So I went to go spit it. And I was like, yo, it was like syrup. Like I couldn't spit it. Like to this day, it was like Aunt Jemima's. I couldn't even get it in the spitter. I was like, yo, this must be thick or I'm really thirsty. Either of the two. I had no idea, but I like couldn't efficiently get it because it was like slimy. I didn't want to just like spit go in. And I was like, this is awkward. And then it kept hitting faster and faster and faster trying to get this spit out. And then within 30 seconds, like as I pulled up this light, legs were numb. Like not just they buzzed, like I don't feel my legs, Jared. Like what's going on? And then all of a sudden it was like getting a little spinny. And I was like, I'm driving a 5-speed and I'm like, holy shit, I'm high. Like I'm sober, you know, I'm like 18, 19 years old, whatever. You know, sober before that, put this in and I'm like, I can't even spit it out. It's so thick. Like my mouth couldn't produce enough saliva to
Give me
even
a
like
McDonald's spoon.
yeah.
Pry it out of there.
So, dude, my legs go numb, and I'm like, woo, like kind of circulating. I'm like, dude, I almost feel sick. This is so high. So I just opened the door and got rid of it. And I was like, dude, I can't even feel my legs, and I gotta drive a 5-speed, which wasn't really a problem. But I was like, in my head, I was like, damn, like if it gets worse than this. So that was my first dip story. I was like, dude, I spit it out, and I was like, damn, Jared. He was laughing. He was like, yeah. I mean, I don't remember what he said or how I remember
How
he
long did you
laughed.
have the chew in for?
Dude, less than a minute and a half. Dude, like I said, like for a Coke Straight with a high content, I probably pulled like, you know, I'm air quoting it for Alex, but it was like inch and a half, a thick boy, like quarter almost. It was a thick one. This is what like people at McDowell were throwing in. I was like, I don't know any better. That's what they're doing.
Right.
You know, like just whatever, get one in. I don't want a baby pinch. I didn't think that was the way to go. And like you said, it was a high nicotine content. So I threw it in and 60 seconds, my legs were gone, and I was getting a little spinny, and I couldn't even spit the saliva out. And it was just syrupy, and I was like, I can't do this right now. Like, I'm driving, so I spit it out. Like, maybe when I get home. And so, yeah, that was my first dip story.
Jesus. I don't even remember mine, man. I mean, you're the one who got me into it.
Snowboarding?
It had to have been snowboarding.
Yeah, that was like one of the...
Yeah, we threw like a pouch in and then just like went.
I haven't as much because of, like, of course, like most females, they don't like, oh, you have tobacco mouth, I won't kiss you.
All you gotta do is rinse out with some water.
Yeah, but it doesn't matter. They're like, in their head, they're like retaliating. So, I would, prior to Tristan, whenever I'd go snowboarding with like him and Justin,
so
actually what I would do, which is like, it could be looked down on, but I would actually go with like the camel pouches, like the mints and stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Because
Yeah,
when you're snowboarding, you don't have time to like maintain it because it rotates a lot.
Right.
Yeah, you'd go pouches and I would double up on them because they're weak. And then they were just a pouch. You know, all you had to do was spit. You don't have to worry about like loose shit and accidentally swallowing it when you're hitting a kicker or something.
Right.
So I'd go pouches and I'd double up on it. And it'd give you a nice buzz and it would like relax. You were just like chill. Like I'm feeling myself while I'm snowboarding without like being drunk or incoherent.
Nice.
It would just make you feel good.
Right.
Excuse me. Same. Wow, I'm all kinds of burpy.
That
So
blue moon.
kind of like, you know, like when you're fishing or something, like you're just chilling, you're feeling good, you know, you're not like, oh, I'm inebriated and like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like if you're doing drinking or something, but when you throw the pouches in, it just kind of like, I feel cool, you know, like I'm good.
Yeah, you just feel warm and fuzzly.
Yeah,
and
you get a
just
little
wanna
head high, and you're
chill.
like, it eases your body. And then like, not that you're stressed if you're experiencing snowboarding, but like that extra, I'm just relaxed. And it was really good. And I guess that's interesting that was like your gateway to it.
That had to have been it. It was either that or we're just driving somewhere and you offered it to me. But regardless, the fondest memory is snowboarding with it.
I had a backfire
a
on those
must.
too, though, where I was like gaming one night and I hadn't done it in a couple weeks or months or something. And I threw 2 of them in. I wasn't doing anything, and I was like, damn, I got like buzzing really quick off some camel pouches.
Yeah.
And I was like, I almost feel sick. And then I spit them out, and then there was almost like an immediate withdrawal from going super high to super nothing.
yeah.
And I drank a bunch of water, and I was like, dude, I feel sick as shit. Like, this is awful. I was laying in my bed for like 30 minutes, like, oh my God, this is terrible. And I never had that experience again, but like, something about it, like going up too fast and then like getting rid of it.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like you can die from nicotine poisoning. You know what I mean? So like, you know, if you don't have it very often, and back then you wouldn't need as much, you would take 2 pouches. You're not used to that nicotine level.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? It's, you know, everything's a tolerance.
Oh, sure.
So-
Everything in moderation. You're like,
Right.
oh, I haven't drank alcohol in 3 years.
Yeah,
And
you're gonna have 2
bang
beers.
a
Yeah.
fucking Jack Daniels. You're like, I'm smashed
Yeah,
after like 3
blackout.
shots.
Yeah, like blackout. You know what I mean? But see, like pouches are easier to get into for your first. Now, see, like for me, when I was chewing, I would go through a can a day because people that chew over a can a day, you're like wasting it. Because like when I was chewing, that much,
You're just addicted.
right? Like I would have one in 24/7.
It's maintenance at that point. It's not a high.
Right, exactly.
It's the same way I treat. Like that's why I only vape when I drink, because then you enjoy it, whereas like you don't build. There's a cycle of it, and I learned this in 7th grade, and I've applied it to a lot of things in life, and it works to almost everything in life. It's the philosophy of stable, high, low, and when you're at a stable ground, like the morning you wake up, you're at a stable ground. If you're not, it's presumably addicted to something. Caffeine's a big one.
Yeah.
So when you're not used to drinking caffeine, you wake up in the morning, you're tired, and you drink like a big cup of coffee. You're like, man, I'm gonna get some shit done.
Right.
Like you're in there. And then like as you continue to drink it, so there's a circle. You start on neutral ground, and then there's a middle line. For those that are listening, there's a middle line, there's a top line, and there's a bottom line. Kind of like when you learn to draw cursive. Remember how they had the little spacers?
Mm-hmm.
You start on the middle line. And when you take that caffeine, that nicotine, that marijuana, that alcohol, you draw a circle up to the top, and then it has to come back down over a process of processing whatever the stimulant is, or down or whatever. It can apply to pills too, but it's the high to low ratio. So you hit that nicotine and that caffeine, you're on the high spectrum, and then eventually you come back down, be it a few hours later or the end of the night, and you wake up the next morning and you actually don't start at the middle, you start a little lower. So you need a little bit more, so the high end isn't much, and you get used to just your circle starts to cascade down to the low ratio to where now people, when they wake up, they don't drink caffeine to feel that high and that grind. They drink that caffeine because they feel like dog shit when they wake up and they need to wake up. So then it puts them back on a normal bar. And it applies to almost everything in life. Your high to low ratio can apply to, like, dude, you go on forever with
that's
this.
so weird.
Yeah.
I've never heard of that before.
Yes, the high to low ratio, because your body is not used to it.
I understand the importance of, like, pacing yourself, and that's not the correct word for it. Just like
everything in moderation.
Yeah, in moderation.
You start continuing to use something, it doesn't give you the same high it used to. Now it just regulates. Now when you wake up in the morning, and I have friends that are like this, DJs probably like this. All of DJ's friends are like this. The first thing they do when they wake up in the morning, no gas on them. Like they enjoy it. They enjoy it just as much.
Right there
but at the same time, the first thing you look for when you woke up wasn't your phone. It was your vape. Yep. You're like, man, I feel kind of headachy. Right. Oh, now I feel better. You start it low because your circle has to come back up, and that applies to everything: alcoholism, marijuana for some people, alcohol, anything that you abuse. I mean, and it can be other things too. But
that is wild to think about. I like that a lot.
And my 7th grade teacher taught me.
I hope my 2 cups of coffee in the morning isn't fucking my system.
No, 2 cups of coffee is probably like
2 measurement cups of coffee. It's just like a Yeti, like this.
No,
big,
right? you might be like a little below the normal, where you're like I need a little bit to just wake me up.
But no, the amount of coffee that I used to drink.
Oh, dude,
I definitely messed up something.
Oh, I need to talk about this one on the. I need to talk about this one on the record. So this motherfucker, Jacob Bond, I called him out on it. I was like, so Alex, you've heard of Death Wish, right?
Oh yeah, that's like crazy caffeine.
High caffeine. Okay.
Yeah.
So a normal for the listeners and Alex, a normal cup of coffee, 8-ounce cup of black coffee in most places like Country Fair or your gas station should contain 100 milligrams of caffeine per 8-ounce serving. Some are low, some are high, depending if you get the dark like Kunjin roast or a light roast at Tim Hortons. It'll vary, but it's supposed to be about 100. A green tea, 100 for black coffee, 50 for black tea, 25 for green tea. So 8 ounces of black coffee, 100 milligrams of caffeine. Death Wish is 81 milligrams of caffeine per 1 ounce. So if you do an 8-ounce cup of coffee, you're already talking 8. That's 8 times 8. 80 times 8. It's just under 800, 720, 600, and
that's a lot of fucking
640 caffeine in an 8-ounce cup of black coffee.
And I had 2 cups. That was that
more than
was only 4.
More than, and I'll get there.
Well, that's just for Death Wish. What
but you're talking about the scoops. I'll tell you in a second.
So 648 milligrams per cup. That's times 2. So I had 1296.
I don't know if it was Mayo Clinic or WebMD or whatever. Whoever decided this was like the human body should only process like 600 milligrams of caffeine in a day. That's like your upper level. Like they say you should only have like I don't know it scientifically, but they'll say like 120 grams of sugar in a day. I think that's high, but 100, that's how many you're supposed to have in a day, because that's like a non-abusive amount. That's like, what's the word I look for? Everything in moderation. Like you only have so much sodium, only have so much sugar. 600 milligrams was the level for caffeine, right?
All the different vitamins.
And this motherfucker was drinking, I'm trying to remember at the time the ounces, but it was one of those like vats of coffee. It was like 24 ounces or something. And he was like, oh, I'm putting Death Wish in it, but I'm not just Death Wish, I'm cold pressing it. And he was cold pressing it. And then in doing a 12 or 24 hour cycle, I remember you telling me, and when you cold press things, it retains a higher caffeine content. Because it simmers in it and it retracts more caffeine.
Cold brew.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, he was cold pressing it.
Okay.
So you basically do a French press, but when you do it, you only do it cold, and for some reason that retracts more because it sits in it.
I mean, I don't.
Well,
I'm not a scientist, but I understand there's weird ways of doing stuff that actually makes it more potent.
When you French press,
and people are gonna figure it out.
When you French press 3 to 5 minutes, that's the normal amount. It'll be a little bit more caffeine content. It'll be a more richer, bolder because of the way it is.
Yeah, the flavor of the coffee.
When you
cold
press it, it's simmering on the beans longer, and it's pulling more caffeine out of it. So he was cold pressing like 24 ounces or some shit.
Or no, 16 ounces. So
was it 16?
2 cups. 2
okay.
cups.
Oh, that's what it was.
I don't know how much.
But I did the math on what an ounce
stuff,
to 16,
right.
and I was like, bro, you're they're drinking like 1,600 milligrams of caffeine.
Oh no! And then when I got to
like,
work,
hey, Jake,
I would have 4 more cups of coffee.
This
then
is when
again,
you were in school.
It was probably 3 cups of coffee because it was a quart, right? So 4 cups can fit in it. I filled it up with ice, and then hit the coffee machine at work.
Yeah.
And, it'd fill up. So, 2.5 to 3 cups of
But wait,
coffee
there's
in there.
more. I was like, dude, he's probably consuming 1,600 milligrams. And he was just like, oh, okay. And then at the time, he was salt nicking on vape, like 52 to 54 nick. And I was like, dude, how long does it take you to drink that 16 ounces? He's like, I finish it in about a class. And I was like, how long is a class? He's like, an hour and a half. And I was like, bro, you're drinking 3 times your daily consumption in an hour and a half, and then you're nicking another stimulant at 54. I'm like, dude, your brain's gonna burn out and shut off. And he just like eventually cooled it, but like I don't know why.
Well, see, like I couldn't even imagine that because I have family up in Ferndale. It's like a suburb of Detroit, but it's like a hipster area.
Okay.
So we went to a coffee place, and I've never really had like true espresso, like from people that actually know how to make it.
Yeah.
I'm telling you, bro, I was hyped. It came out in this little cup. I don't know how many
Tiny.
fluid ounces. Tiny.
It's 1 ounce.
It's like a shot. Yeah, it's like
Yeah, tiny little thing, but it was super hot. So I tried drinking it, so I had to let it sit for a minute because it was super fucking hot.
Oh, yeah.
I don't like burning hot coffee. I put ice cubes in my little container I take to work.
Mine too. Yeah.
Yeah,
mine too.
Like a good temperature.
Yeah, I can't drink it
Like a
boiling
hot cocoa.
I don't know how people do that. Burns the fuck out of your
There's
mouth.
people that can't get it hot enough.
I know. I'm like, that's stupid.
Depending on the flavor of coffee for my French press, if it's blueberry cobbler from down the street, that shit has no ice touching it, no whatsoever.
You like it hot, blueberry cobbler?
Oh,
Still
have
drink it?
to.
Yeah,
the
that's
water's
a hot one?
diluting the flavor. But if
Yeah.
if it's like my mom's Dunkin' Donuts stuff that I've been
Yeah.
ripping for a little bit, then ice it up.
Yeah, whatever.
Okay.
I feel that.
So, there was I've heard of people that are like, the hotter the better. Like they can't, like they're burning.
Yeah,
like they have
I
full
just don't
pot.
get
Like if
it.
it gets cold, they're like, dude, new pot. But they've made, there was a Shark Tank for that. Where they made these things called the coffee jewels. They're these little like proprietary stones with this ingredient in them. And it's on Shark Tank. And he'll put 2 of them in like a 16 ounce. You put like 1 per 6 or 8 ounces. And what it does, it pulls it down from like that 180 degrees to about like 100, and it keeps it there for like 36 hours or some shit because it pulls the heat into the center of it and then it slowly dissipates it. And it was like a really big deal on Shark Tank. And I was like, well, if I was an abusive coffee drinker, that'd be really cool, but I'm not. I drink 6 ounces and then I'm good. I try to keep my caffeine intake at like a modest level so that I don't become the person that's below the standard line. So.
Right. Well, see, like, I forget how big I call it a thermos. I don't know how many fluid ounces. It
It is a thermos.
Like how big?
I think
How like?
Girthy.
I think it's like 4 cups. So I
That
fill
was a
that for work.
32 ouncer.
But now I drink that over the whole day. So like I don't chug that whole thing when I
that's fair.
get there.
Keep you going.
Because I just got
Just
used to
sipping.
it.
See, like to be honest, for me, like my 2 cup Turvis, whatever the heck it is,
Thermos.
I think they're called Turvis, the brand name. right?
Thermos.
Turvis.
Well, I don't know, but that's a general name as a
I
thermos.
think
Something
it's
that keeps it
Turvis,
warm.
but regardless, they that 2 cups, it's like good, but halfway through the day, like I could definitely like start sipping on
Right, exactly.
another coffee if I had it.
Right,
Maintenance, they call
Well,
No, I feel that.
I think I
think 4
have
cups is fine.
Tefal or whatever the cheap Walmart.
Yeah, I got a Tefal.
Yeah,
Tefal.
well, because I go in the clearance. It's
Yep.
a little black when it's metal because the weld chop is just nice having it metal. So if it falls on the concrete or
Right,
whatever,
right.
it can survive.
Well, I think all thermoses are metal, anyways. But
no,
Well, ever since
no.
the big push with Turvis and all
Plastics.
that stuff,
there's
and-
plastic thermoses.
Well, yeah, like
Yeah,
they're
well,
like
all it is
they're
is
not
it's-
metal outside.
all it is
they're
it's
they're still
the-
insulated.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so it's
they have
still
the air
insulated.
barrier or
Yeah,
whatever it is, so
yeah.
it's-
So like they're still insulated and they're rated because they have the same top, so they can actually hold it just as long.
Cool.
And they're
Or
cheaper.
no, mine's not a Turvis, it's a Yeti.
Oh well, you have the really nice one. Those can keep shit.
You two go on
Yeah.
about that. I gotta hit the John.
Dude, but same thing. I have 2 of them. I was like, I need a Yeti for Christmas, and then my family bought me 2. So
Really?
I'm like, what am I gonna do?
Oh yeah, but like so like, and then some days I don't even finish it. Like on the days where it's 90 degrees this week, I didn't finish the whole thermos of hot coffee. I'm in a hot weld shop. I'm not.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna be drinking hot coffee.
Dude, the only way I would
like
be
that.
able to do that is because you're right, like the body temperature and stuff, like you have to.
I was just
obey
way too
that.
fucking hot. I was drinking my
Yeah.
ice water all day.
The only way I would be able to do it, I fell in love with the iced coffee.
Really?
Well, like I
Right.
said at the first kitchen gig, ice, coffee. Let's go, because that line's hotter than
Right.
what. I mean,
Exactly.
Probably comparable to.
Oh yeah,
welding shop.
definitely. Yeah, because you have fires and stuff going, grills, everything else. Yeah.
And dude,
Oh, it's still a hot
Everywhere.
environment. You know.
but right after that coffee was gone, it was water like all night long.
Right. See, like, I don't know. I don't like coffee unless it's like, it has to be at least lukewarm for me. So, like, I can't
Yeah.
drink cold coffee. I've tried it. It just doesn't taste the same to me. But I can't have it boiling hot either, but it has to be warm.
Yeah.
But now I can have coffee left over in the coffee pot from that day and then heat it back up in the microwave and drink it.
Yeah, see, there's nothing wrong with
Yeah, like I'm not
Nothing
picky.
wrong.
Now, if it's like over a day old, I can't drink that. But like if it's the same day,
that. That's expired.
yeah, I'll just dump it out. It's not worth it. It's just water, some coffee beans. It's not that expensive, you know.
Yeah.
I'll just go make a new pot. But if it's the same day and like the coffee pot turns off, I can put it in the microwave and drink it and be fine.
Yeah.
But
I'm not, I mean,
well, and plus I made sure to make a coffee because I started drinking energy drinks. And I was up to like 196 pounds. I stopped drinking energy drinks and pop. Now I'm down to 170.
good for you, bro.
So
Sugar and carbohydrates are bad.
Well,
dude.
because I was working 3:30 in the afternoon till fucking 2 in the morning.
This
So
is my like bad side is beer. I love it.
Carbs, man. That's so.
it's
I
all
got
belly
this
carbs,
late
bro.
lager, dude. I found a Samuel Adams.
I have to try one of those.
Samuel
Those look really
Adams.
good.
You try
really
it.
good beer.
It's
super good.
It's just a light beer.
Yeah.
It's like a bougie Bud Light.
Yeah.
Bougie Bud Light.
There's a
It
Samuel
reminds me of like
Adams.
8 days a week from Southern Tier. if you
A
ever had
Samuel
it.
Adams hazy IPA that's light. It's like what?
Like a 8 days a week
That's
from
what it
Southern
reminds you
Tier.
of?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Southern Tier is such a good brewery.
Yeah. I've been
Good.
there I don't know how many times because a girl, Hannah Gilman,
Their brewery is pretty nice.
I've been out to her.
So nice.
Yeah, her parents had like a beach house there. We used to go out and I've only went there once.
So it's
for
around
parties.
the corner.
Yeah, so but I've been there probably 4 times out the Southern Tier.
Twice for me, but the wood outside is a great spot.
Well, I
I've
like
been there twice. It's It's
well,
so
I
nice.
like it because they have more selection too. So like, and you try
They
different
have
beers.
A ton
that,
of stuff.
Right, 'cause-
Absolutely.
yeah.
Seasonal, and then
Yeah,
not only that,
exactly.
but they're like home hitters with like the 2X and
see, 2X is the only like really potent beer that I can drink now.
Yeah.
Because like
Let's
so
honestly,
popular.
I say 2X in a lot of like social settings, and people are like,
how about 3X?
Nuts
drink it,
grass.
let's
Yeah,
go.
I'll drink it, but
3X
holy
is
shit.
grass, man.
I'll drink it. Let's
3X
go.
3X is like watered grass.
Me and Jake get along on that. Yeah. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm only drinking maybe 2 of the 3X. I'm not drinking a whole 6-pack.
oh no. Like, to be honest,
they're just too heavy. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
they're very
I
much
can't
so.
drink a 6-pack.
You
of
can't
them.
cardio a
No, like a
IPA
9%
pack.
beer. Was it 9.2 or some shit? Like you're gonna feel 2 of those.
Oh yeah, it's
I don't-
like, have you ever had a Mad Elf?
Oh goodness gracious me! Oh my!
A what?
Mad Elf Ale. Trogs makes a Mad Elf Ale.
It's a-
I
it's a
drank.
Trogs.
No,
Oh,
I drank that
Trogs.
with
It is-
Alex. I'll tell the story. So Trogs Mad Elf Ale, bro. Me and Alex go
You
to.
didn't even know the name of it.
Me and
No, I remember Trogs because of what's the one with the dog on it that was like 12% or
it's
some
an elf.
shit.
Okay, yeah. It's happened.
It's-
I'll get
it
to
looks like a reindeer.
So
Yeah.
me and this
Rain
Alex
dog.
dude
Yep.
go to. I was probably like fresh 21. I don't know, like not very long
Where'd
into
you
it.
go,
Less,
Andy's?
it was pre 22, but we went to Andy's Pub, which
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah,
dude,
for those
Andy's
that-
Pub. That's
for
where
those-
it's at.
for
I have
those
another
that-
story about this too. It's great.
For those that don't know, it's just a billiards house, but it's like not just normal bar. It's like they have a set up billiards, but there's a bar on that level and upstairs. And
Yeah.
so on that
With
level,
dartboards upstairs, by
Yes.
the way, I will say that.
when you
Dartboards.
separate from the billiards house, they're pretty strict in the billiards area, but you can go to the bar area and get food and beer. And I was like, oh, what you guys got? And they had like a shelf of bottles and some draft. And I was like, oh, what's that one? Trogs Mad Elf. And they're like, oh, it looks pretty good. It's almost Christmas. It was like November. I was like, I'll give it a go. I'm like, it's a heavy one. I was like, well, how heavy? And it was like 11%. I was like, I mean, cool, whatever. I'll go for it. And so I was on an empty gut, and I ordered food and had a Trogs Mad Elf, and we went over to the billiards table and started playing. And I was drinking it like it was a Labatt, like because it tasted so good.
Yeah,
it was really
it's very good.
very
There's a-
rich and thick.
There is a like aftertaste of like, oh shit, there's something in here.
Yeah.
But,
Oh
like,
yeah, like you're
but
gonna
it goes
taste the alcohol because it's 11%.
but it goes
You're
down
drinking a
li-
very
It's not
smooth.
like liquor
That-
alcohol.
No, but it's
No,
just
no, no,
below
but
it. Liquor starts at 15%
Yes.
for mixing liqueur.
But when you drink it,
Yeah.
you don't get turned away because of the liquor taste. Like,
No,
like,
they-
you're like, whoa, I can
Right.
tell this is kind of rich.
It's a very good beer.
And I was like
Right.
halfway through it, and I
did it
was
right.
like, "Whoa!" And then I was like about to finish it when the food showed up.
go.
And then I was like, "She was like, you need anything else?" And I was like, "Yeah, I'll take a tall Yingling." And then like as this food like got here and I finished my beer, I was like, "Bro, I'm like beyond tipsy right now on an empty stomach." I was like, "Holy fuck!" So I was eating my food and I started drinking my Yingling, and I was like, "Dude, if I had like 2 more beers, I'd be drunk." On an empty stomach, like it went straight through me, and I was like, I'm eating my sandwich, and I was drinking my Yingling, and I was like, Alex, I'm gonna give you this beer, dude. Like I gotta drive home. Like I carpooled with him. I drove him, and I was like, dude, this beer hit me heavy. This was like fresh into 21. Like I didn't really have a tolerance,
Holy shit.
and I was like, dude, I am spent. I keep
buzzing.
going if someone wasn't driving, but I was like, fuck, dude, like I would have a hard time even playing pool now. And that was my first Trogs Mad Elf experience.
Well, oh wait, yeah.
Well, hang on.
go
Yeah,
ahead.
quick story. So, very similar situation. My buddy who told me about Mad Elf, and he just told me about this anime to watch. You know, go home. I got a whole 6-pack of the Mad Elf.
Yikes.
And, yeah,
Oh.
not my story. That's fucking erased from the books, boys. I tore that page out. The story, like, he was at the bar at Andy's.
Okay.
I think he was lower level because he was playing some pool. And girl comes up, first drink, Mad Elf. Doesn't even get halfway through it. Like, he looked over at her bottle as she's, like, falling out of her chair. Because, like, she's, like, falling asleep, like, fucking needed escorted out of the building because of how fucked up she was off of a half of a Mad Elf.
Yeah, girls
She must
be
have
like
been,
that.
like, petite /
For you listeners,
no
that's
food.
how Mad Elf hits you. Like you drink one of them and you're
Dear
like,
Lord.
I only need maybe 2, and like
Right.
we're
Yeah.
throwing up. Like that stuff rips.
So
It's surprising too, because like
It's
the
so
liquor, like you
good.
said, liquor starts at 15%.
Yeah.
You can
yeah,
can take 2
mixing
shots of
liqueur is what they
vodka,
call it. It's mixing liqueur.
but you could drink. You could throw back 2 shots of
So
vodka.
you're talking like, what is it?
2 shots of vodka won't make you feel the same way as one Mad Elf.
There's a
will.
whole bunch of them.
It's weird.
Like
Tequila
vermouth and
mixes.
stuff? Or
Oh no. What's the orange peel one that you put in Long Island?
I don't know. Trogs is a beer though. It's not a mixed liqueur.
yeah,
No,
exactly.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, no,
no, like going
because-
off of your
Right.
whole topic
Although-
of the
Although,
alcohol percentage. Yeah,
do we
you're
even
right.
really call it beer though? I think it's a hybrid. Let's just be honest here.
No, it's just
well, no, but
so-
like right, like
It's a beefy beer.
right, like it's technically made like
Oh,
a beer, but
beefy
the alcohol
beer.
content makes it stronger. Like so, it was like Flying Dog. What's the one I was talking? Do you guys know what I'm talking about? It's like 12%. It's made by like I think it has like a weird
Dogfish
picture
head,
dog.
120%.
Huh?
Dogfish head, 120%.
No, not Dogfish Head. It has like
is
this
that how
like
it's
weird
pronounced?
fucked up picture on the outside of like a dog in a fish mix. But they make like I think it's called like Flying Dog. I think is the brand. It's something weird like
I've
that.
heard of Flying Dog.
I've only had this once, and the one that I got was 12%. So I grabbed a 6-pack to go out golfing with a kid named Elijah.
I remember Dogfish head. 60 say 60 or 120 minute on it.
Well, no, because the Dogfish Head is like a green case, right?
Yeah.
No, it's not that
Okay,
one.
okay,
This one has
okay.
like an orange, like weird outside, and like the dog is like weird, almost like pen ink drawn on.
Really?
Yeah. So, but like they had a lot of different kinds of beer, and I picked it up at the beer place right outside Andy's, actually. That little beer place right down the corner.
1,000 beer.
Yeah, 1,000 beer.
1,000 beer.
So, right. So I went there.
The Blue Moon.
Exactly.
Save me a toke on that.
So.
So I get out of the door.
So I ended up going there and I picked them up. They're 12 percenters, right? Because I'm going out golfing. Super hot day after work at Erie Friends. So I
Worst
go
time
out,
to drink a rich beer.
Yeah, I know. So I grabbed a 6-pack. I ended up drinking the whole 6-pack in 9 holes at JC Martin.
Christ.
You know how small that course is. That's a really
You
quick
could
game of
finish in
golf.
an hour and a half.
Right, and I had a 6-pack of those.
Hour and a half is long for JC Martin, though, probably.
Right, but
If you're good.
but imagine how fucked up I was by the end. I was not playing good golf by the end.
No. You weren't playing good golf after, like, the 3rd hole.
Exactly. So I had a whole 6-pack, And so,
with those, you hit the ball and you don't know where it goes.
no, exactly. Like, I actually blacked out at the end. Luckily, Elijah drove me back to his house because I parked outside and we drove from there because he lives on the east side. So he was closer, so I just parked at his house after work. So I had that 6-pack, and by the time that I got to his house, I was so blackout. I was like, dude, you know, it's good seeing you. He didn't want me to drive. He offered to have me come in and sleep, but of course, I was like, no, because I'd never been in his house before because he lived with his parents.
Right.
So I went in my car. I passed out until like 4 in the morning. We played golf after work, so I was passed out till like 4 in the morning outside of my car. And I had all these texts from him like, hey, just come inside and sleep. I see you sleeping in your car. Just come inside. But
you just didn't wake up.
I was just that drunk that I passed out in my car until 4 in the morning, and I woke up at least sober enough where I felt like I could drive back to Girard to go to my parents' house.
Yeah.
So ever since then,
That's a vibe.
I do
Falling asleep
not.
in the car.
Yeah.
I don't think
Well, because dude, I had a 6-pack of 12% beer.
I've only ever
a
napped
round
in
of
my
golf.
car. I've never
9
had
holes.
a slip in the car.
I was blacked out.
Wait, once.
for road trips, yes, but I
Yes.
don't think I've ever done it because I was intoxicated.
Yeah, me either.
I just
I've
did the
done
bad
one
boy
on a
thing
road
and-
trip. One. It was on the way back from Philly, but we won't go into it. It doesn't matter.
Right, but I mean, like, I was that drunk. Now, like I said, he drove
Yeah.
back to his house.
But I mean, at least you were like, F it, I'm not driving. I'm just
oh
sleeping.
fuck no! I just knew I needed to sleep. That's all. Like I said, I don't remember.
Oh, dude, sleeping it off is like
the best thing you can do.
Have you ever woken up drunk?
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Okay, just making sure.
Oh yeah. I mean, dude, I've had
many times.
I
Like twice for me. That's
yeah.
it.
Hey,
Freaking the night with Jack Daniel's Honey.
yeah.
Oh my god, when you were playing League and it was like
It was so
24
fun. We had
minutes.
our computers right next to each other. Dude, there
All
was
I-
a point where like we were just sipping, having a great time, and then all of a sudden like I hear Cayce, or it was me saying it. What do my moves do?
So for those people that know League of Legends,
so funny.
so Jake's an AD main, and at the time I was a support main, and he was like I'm just gonna go top and play Graves, and I think I like bought him Graves or something. I know you don't know League, Alex, but I bought him this. I'm gonna make this very brief. I brought him Graves, and it was like Graves was a top lane champion. Give me another one too, please. And so he was like, I'm gonna go play top, and so it was like we're drinking and playing and we're kind of quiet because we're drunk. And it was like 24 minutes goes on and he was like, bro, it's 24 minutes and I don't have a completed item. And like it's normal to finish if you're playing the game appropriately. Finishing an item at like 10 to 12 minutes
Dude,
is
the
like
games in-
is like
The
a little
games of
behind
League
par.
Lasts a little over 24 minutes now. Like they're short.
They used to
games.
be like 30 to 35ers back then, but it was 24 minutes and you have a single item. Mind you, Alex, you can fit 6 items in a build. He was like, bro, I don't even have a single item because he was playing so bad.
have boots.
Yeah, it was bad. But anyways, I wanna progress into a little directed question, one of Jake's favorite. We'll start with Alex.
Yeah, start with them.
Yeah, we'll start with Alex. So today, what was your mental breakfast?
Mental breakfast. I don't know what you mean by that. You're gonna have to explain the question better.
What was your mental breakfast?
Today we were fabricating a loading dock, so it's like a portable way to move the mixers from the concrete, like the big ones that we
That
make.
was what you were doing at work?
Yeah.
Now, did you think of that when you woke up?
Yeah, because I was working on the day before.
Okay, so your mental breakfast is an idea of what you were eating in your brain when you woke up.
Yep.
What was your mental breakfast? So carry on.
Yeah, so the reason why is because there's so many small pieces we have to, like, find center lines off weird stuff. I mean, like, this trailer has to be probably, like, I don't know, 30 feet long. And, like, it has all these big apparatuses, fucking water tanks and shit we're putting on it. Mm-hmm. So it's all these little tiny parts that you have to, get all, like, you have a stack of, like, 20 prints you got to go through to, like, get all the pieces on. So, like,
Fuck that.
yeah, trying to, like, fab all that, it's, like, mentally exhausting by the end of the day. Because, like, you're not even welding
So
that
you
much.
woke up worried about it.
Or just, I was already thinking of the next pieces we had to put on.
Yeah.
I remember, like, where we left off from the day before. So I was like, oh, we have to come in because the one plate we had to cut because they cut it fucked up. So we had to go in with the
You're
plasma
already
and
worried
cut
about the shit you're gonna have to deal
it.
with.
Yeah, because I told him, I was like,
Man.
hey.
So you woke up worried about work.
Right, because I didn't want to cut it in the morning. I'm like, hey, let's try to get done at the end of the day. But the tip was messed up on the plasma.
Yeah.
So by the time we got a tip and stuff, it was time to
She had way too
clean up
much
and go home.
flash, and it wasn't clean. And
Exactly, because it wasn't keeping a straight line. It was like going all over the place. And the better, obviously fitting it, you have to weld it after. So you're trying to make the cut nice. So when you have to weld it back on there, you don't have a gap to fill. Make it easy on yourself.
Yeah. So that was your mental breakfast.
Yep. I was like, I have to go cut that damn
am
plate
really
this
sorry
morning.
for your mental breakfast. That's a poor mental breakfast. But that's sometimes you do that. Sometimes you wake up with shit on your mind.
Well, see, but like I like that place because at Ridge Rack I didn't use my head anymore. There's only so many different options and stuff.
Oh,
like
yeah.
I knew everything there. That's why I hit 200%
well, you're
every night.
piece rating, so you're doing the same thing.
I was doubling my hourly pay there.
Yeah.
Because I was hitting
But you're
20
always
hours
doing
in 10.
the same thing, so you're like it's
I knew
almost
everything.
muscle memory.
I knew everything, right? Like that's why my partner just started and we're still hitting 200% because I knew everything. He just
telling
had,
them what to do.
Yep, he's had to be a grunt and just weld that other side of the beam. Yeah. But so there I didn't use it at all. Here, I mean, we're putting together, like the silos are, I don't know, 15 feet tall by, could be up to 40 feet long. They put them on these rollers to roll them. And you have to put all the pipes in and stuff like that. Like you use your head a lot. So you're not just putting beads down like I was. It's a lot of like mental stuff. So it actually, to me, it's kind of fun. So like I wasn't dreading
You're doing
it this
true
morning.
fab and welding.
Yeah.
And then do a dread. It's
Because-
just you woke up with work on your mind.
Right, because I was at Ridge Rack so long, I'm actually excited to go to work there.
But
I just got a better offer. I don't mind working
That is
there.
exciting when you have to do something that is
Different.
Not.
I did the same thing
It's
for
one of
3
the
years.
problems that
It was cool.
I didn't like about what I was doing in the place I was at when I was building pumps is it's multiplicative and it can be very nuanced, but we build one style of pump, like a DB6 pump, but there's a 6, 7, 8, a 9, and a 10 version, and they all have different flow rates, different head rates, and then there's different components inside that certify them for different chemicals.
Right.
But we're building the same thing, but when I pull a bill of parts, I'm just pulling a little bit different bill of parts, and then I'm building it, in a
Right.
mildly same
I
way.
gotcha.
And so I get to the point where I'm doing the same thing over and over, and pretty much autopiloting through it, and I just get bored of it. Like, I
Right.
need some nuance, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so when you get into that mode, listen to a YouTube video, really good video. I'll have to send it to both of you. It's really long, but the guy talks about like cultural issues based on how we carry through life because we're devoid of the flow and furo response. So when you're working
Wait, say that again. Flow and what?
flow and furo is a natural thing in the human mind. I'm gonna go down a little road here for a second. The flow and furo. So your flow state. Do you know what flow state is?
I've heard of it, but I
So-
need to get that.
So the flow state
you
is
don't
when you
mind.
get in the mode, you get in the mode and you're not thinking about anything but perfecting the current task that you're on. And you can find yourself in a flow state with TIG welding. I know Alex would, because you're so focused on what you're doing and
Right.
performing that nothing else comes to mind.
Right.
You're in a flow state. Or sometimes you get in a flow state in basketball when you're getting on a reset and you're storming across and you're in your flow and you're thinking about if you're a point
Oh,
guard,
yeah. Dude,
where
no,
it's
I
going,
felt
the
that.
cross to a pass.
I have felt
There's
that.
not a single damn thing on your mind but perfecting the
No, I've
opportunity
had
in
that.
front of you. And
I've
the
had
flow
that.
and furo response is like, not to diminish it, but it's leftover monkey shit. Like it's like we're constantly as survivors in the flow state trying to monkeys were whatever their current problem was, a threat or food, you're in the flow state trying to like do something. And then once you achieve that, like he's in the flow state charging on the return off the rebound to watching the defense in the flow, finding it, dishing it to the strong forward, getting it back and sinking it. And then you get that furo, we accomplished after our flow state. And the flow and furo response is devoid from a lot of jobs on a major basis because we get so into a position where we don't have a flow state. We're just so used to doing the same thing that it's not a challenge anymore. To
Right.
getting your flow state, it has to be something that's a challenge. And people can...
Ooh, that's really a
Yeah.
really,
Yeah.
People
really
can
interesting
find it.
topic.
Yeah.
Artists are
I didn't
always
know the name
subject
for
to
but
it.
I know
I
what
can
you're
dig
talking
into
about.
this a
Yeah,
bit.
there's
Yeah,
a
no, I
great.
can't do
it.
There's a great.
No, I
the-
have a specific story that comes
the
right to mind.
freaking one Disney movie where the one where he dies and he's like in the spirit form or whatever, and he finds the wandering spirit. I forget which one it was called.
Coco?
Soul.
Yeah, I'm
called
about to say
Soul.
they had like 2 that came out. Soul's the
Soul-
other one.
Soul-
You were
Coco's
right.
different.
Coco's a different one.
But-
That's the
oh, I
heard
Mexican
it.
version.
Soul talks about
yeah,
Soul
like
shows the
Day of the
expression of
Dead.
flow.
Yeah.
There was a no man's land they were going to, and it was like, this is where people that are lost and don't know how to find themselves. And
Yeah.
it was like, oh, what are these up here? And it was like people in their flow state.
I
And
actually like
sometimes
the
they
new
get
movie.
distracted.
I like the new process. They're getting to like real stuff.
Pixar has always been.
I know,
real.
but like they're keeping it going. Like I like the one where the
Is Soul
feelings
good?
are in it. Yeah, it's a good movie.
I've heard
11 out of 10.
Because of my niece, I started watching them
all
because she's young.
Pixar's movies.
They are dope.
No, you told me. You
what's
told
the
me
one
about
the
Coco.
emotions?
I watched it. I love it.
What's the one about the?
I know what you. I know what you're talking about.
Inside Out.
Inside
Yeah.
Out.
That was a great way to describe it to a kid and they can understand it.
Inside Out.
I wish I had that movie as a kid.
Inside
Watching it as
Out.
an adult.
Yeah.
I'm like, that was a great movie.
That was-
Inside
it was
Out,
actually
Soul,
well
and there
put
was a
together,
third one.
great concept,
Me and
brand
T-
new.
Me and T talked about Pixar movies and how they're so good at talking about things that are beyond,
Yeah.
Right.
mostly beyond a kid's
giving
grasp,
right?
but also like adult can watch it and be like, holy shit,
And
like,
get
even,
into it.
Even Coco like
It's
is about.
multiple different.
Oh,
like,
Coco was a
viewpoints
great
at
movie.
once.
I've watched that. I don't know how many
But
times.
the flow and Pharaoh state is also a cause for like depression and like not having job satisfactory because you don't get that Pharaoh release, which is like accomplishment. Whereas when you're like you're an independent person and you're doing something like I don't know, like maybe you're an independent contractor and you're getting in the
It's
flow
so
of building
weird
a
to
deck,
think
and then the next
about.
one's a different job. Whereas I was devoid, and I've in a lot of terms been devoid of that in manufacturing because we're constantly where I'm at building the same stuff. There's no engineering.
Sorry, bro, I just asked for it.
The flow and Pharaoh state. I don't remember how I got here, but I'm willing to allow the conversation to go from this.
Do you want to go first? Drake?
Alex wants to hand it off.
Wait for what?
Flow and
Do
Pharaoh.
you want to keep going with it?
Flo and Fiero.
Because I
Dude, no,
personally
sitting
have
here.
it. Yeah.
So
Get it.
Get it.
this I'll kind of mash this together. I only took one hit, dude. You gotta give me a second.
Get it.
He said,
You gotta give me a second. Well, no, mashing it into my mental breakfast.
that's
Since
right.
my last mental breakfast, it was very upbeat. Just like I'm going with the flow. You know, I want today to be better or just as good as the one that I had, and now I like just recently had like
I
these
changed
weird-
this guy's mornings forever, by the way.
Oh yeah,
Unintentional-
100%. But
I told you he's my number one fan because of the mental breakfast. Alex doesn't know, but this question actually stemmed from a different question, and I reiterated it.
what was the first question?
The
again?
original version of this question, Alex, was what was in your coffee this morning, and everybody answered it straight. They didn't answer
Black.
it loosely. Yeah, they'd be like, "Oh,
Black
I
coffee.
can't drink coffee, so I'll drink tea or decaf." And I was like, "But like, no, what was really in your coffee this morning?" And finally, then I would have to tell
You would
my
have to
side,
beat
and then
around
they
the
would
bush.
open. So now it's just, what's your mental breakfast, And everybody's got a different mental breakfast, but so you can call it your coffee, because
right.
But what was? And he
No, but
he
dude-
liked it so much
Oh,
that
I
like it
love
changes his morning.
I love it. But no, it's fun coming back to these because it's changed so much. Like I just discovered the thing or the weird symptoms I have when playing video games is actually panic attacks.
Yeah.
He did.
And I was like, okay, so I have panic attacks. And then
Performance
I got-
anxiety got him so
Yeah.
bad.
And then I got to a point where it was happening every day, and
Right.
like I had to go to the hospital, and then the pain in my chest wouldn't go away. So I've been on a new medication since. And dude, the headspace is weird. That's what I think about every morning, and almost throughout my entire days. I'm just not there yet, and I know I'm like really, really early in.
Trying to find the balance.
I'm trying to find the balance. I kind of feel numb in a way to
Dude,
like some
most
of my
medications
emotions.
do that.
Yeah.
And I don't like it, but I do
Don't want panic attacks.
right.
I do like not having that elephant on my chest,
Yeah.
as a lot of people say.
No
so,
one wants to park
Right.
a Mac truck on
Yeah,
your chest.
I mean, because anything you take is going to have a side effects to it. So, like, you just got to
Oh,
weigh the
100%.
Not
pros
even
and
that,
cons.
it's just-
you know what I
it's
mean? They're all gonna
changing
do something to
you.
you. Because, like, they could say some, are like narcotics,
And
right?
dude-
But, I could take an Advil and I feel it. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
it's not like a full body high or
Yeah.
anything, but you can still feel any medication that you take.
has a
If you actually
a-
think
yeah,
about it
has a con,
and like
yeah.
and like feel it, you
Except
can
for
feel
aspirin. Aspirin just gets rid of a headache for me, so I only do Bayer aspirin whenever I need a headache, because I'm not an over-the-counter pill. My dad really turned me onto that, because like pills have the longest lasting effect, and there's nothing you can do about it. Like you can throw up alcohol, or
All depends what pills,
whatever
yeah.
old school tricks you have.
it. You can
for-
throw up pills
for
too.
any alcohol.
It all
or-
depends on.
and it's hard because I had the same mentality, and you're the one who really got me on it. well, after the fact of, me just like cold turkeying Adderall as a kid. I just, got off of it
Yeah.
because I didn't like the way it made
before
me
he
feel.
graduated.
Oh yeah.
And so going into a completely different class of medication solely on the fact that I trust my doctor. I've been seeing her since I was a fucking wee one that couldn't talk.
A little wee one.
A little wee one. And I mean, it's definitely helping. It's just kind of combating not only my current symptoms of kind of feel weird, plus the old mentality of, medication's bad, that type of thing. So it's been a weird road for me these last like few weeks.
So
It's
what,
really been
what
weird.
was your mental breakfast? Basically that? Just thinking about how
Yeah, just
medicine's
that-
affecting you?
Just thinking about that and how just the like little minute things will hopefully like make it better, just like day in, day out, like just focus on the good. And
I got a really small segue from that. I won't
Yeah,
take too
go for
long
it.
on. But it was Tristan's mentor at the time, and I always think about it. I've never been really big on medication unless I find that someone really is imbalanced, like severe bipolar or something, and maybe they need a little help. I've never been a really big proponent for, but basically it was her mentor was on an antidepressant finally, and I won't. I probably have already revealed too much about this individual. I shouldn't call out their particular experience without their behalf. But basically, this person got on one. One of the things he noticed about it was he no longer had highs, he no longer had lows, and he felt more in the middle, to where he didn't react to things overexcited or he didn't react to things overly depressed or sad, and he was uncomfortable with that. He's like, I no longer feel highs and lows. And I was
dude,
like,
to be honest, dude, I'm only a week in, and I know the therapeutic effects of my medication don't like start till like 6 to 8 weeks in.
yeah.
But it's been weird. Like first taking it, boom, felt great. It almost conquered like my social anxiety, which is kind of like one of those WebMD like Google like I think
it
I think I've
suppresses
had that
all
type-
anxieties if you're having panic attacks.
but
it's meant to target it.
Yeah, it tackled a lot of things right off the bat. And I was like, oh, if this is what this is gonna be, like, let's go. And then it like definitely mellowed back.
Yeah, because
Quite
your
a
body
bit.
started.
My body
the
got
circle,
used to it.
The circle, the mid to high
It
low.
might be.
To where now.
It might be.
Now it'll find its normal opposed to being a high. It'll just.
It might be, and that's what I'm trying to
Might
get
be.
used to.
Yeah.
And maybe the, pharmaceutical strength or whatever is not there yet, but it's been a weird road. It really has been. It's like now that pain is gone from my chest, like in everyday like situations, it's like, oh, I can complete what I'm gonna do, but then the panic attacks still come through occasionally. So it's like,
So I'm glad it might be helping you in whatever venture you're trying to achieve, but it's unfortunate to hear that last part. So.
yeah.
But your mental breakfast has been kind of revolving around your medication and how it's affecting your life, so to speak.
for sure.
Did that get you most mornings, though? Or at least this one in particular?
Just recently, yeah, just recently. So it's a journey to figure out what's going on.
Okay.
Yeah. But I have to segue into the flow and furo. Is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your flow state into the furo is the release of it's a dopamine release
Yeah.
from
No, but-
accomplishing what your
Yeah.
flow state was trying to achieve.
I have a feeling. I mean, I still don't have a peg on what caused these panic attacks to suddenly merge outside of my. They happened very rarely in my past like occupations, but this occupation, like, I feel has a.
Are you more anxious with what you're doing, or is it because of your
Yeah.
recession from nicotine?
There were a
Little
few
bit of
things
both?
going on there
Little
because
bit of both?
I did like I was going like super healthy, doing a little bit of fasting, but healthy fasting, not like
Oh yeah.
killing myself of all bad things in my life, but I was literally just like getting rid of shit. And it was good. And then I guess the additional stressors from work and
Yeah.
being around these awesome people I work with and work for.
Yeah, you had a really, really good response from your experience, from what you felt was, I mean, what you described, it was like the first time you ever had that extreme of a panic attack. And like they were handled in a way that like, oh my God, like I imagine like in most circumstances, no one would do that. They'd be like, you're cool, drink some water. But it was like, no, they were straight up like, let's find out what's wrong with this dude and then send him to the hospital because he works in a hospital. And
Oh, dude, it was so weird. So like this panic attack came on and I never knew this was a panic attack before. I explained to the doctor that eventually came to see me at our local hospital. I was like, yo, like, I starts feeling tingling. Like, if I feel it in my face, like, I'm done. Like, I felt it today. I even told my mom I had to take the additional medication to help me calm down because...
Wow.
And I don't even know why. That's the problem. Like, yeah, some nurses pissed me off
Anxiety is
today
natural. Everybody just
stuff like that.
receives it at different levels.
It's
Anxiety
just-
is leftover monkey shit.
And yeah, like, but face starts tingling. It literally like locks like this.
I know his hands
My
do
hands
too.
go like this.
Really?
They all tingle. My feet kind of tingle a little bit too. And as soon as I said those three things to the doctor that came in, I was like, she was like, yeah, panic attack, hands down. Because, you know, she had EKGs, blood work, and everything of like me. She's like, yeah, you're healthy. You're just having panic attacks. It was
like
hard
all your blood pressure, all that stuff was fine.
It was hard to process.
Yeah, he said they rolled up with like an IV bag and a blood pressure
Yeah.
thing, and like at
because,
his
dude,
work, they were like, "Yo, you all right?" And they like
So they
showed up
call
like
it-
ready to treat him.
They call it a rapid response team, and I was like, I had no idea.
Imagine
what was
working at
happening.
Cofair and you're dealing with he's dealing. They'd be like,
Right,
"Bro,
like,
here's
yeah,
here's an ice
it'd be
water."
totally different.
They'd be like, "Here's
Yeah,
an
you
ice
gotta
water."
Probably the best
Kid
place
you
to
not,
get
some
like-
fresh air.
Yeah, but this panic attack that day just happened to be, again, you know, I just recently quit vaping, which I've been doing, you know, in high dosages for a long time. Just, you know, set it aside. And I've done it before, so I was kind of like perplexed as to why it was happening. But, you know, the stress relief, whatever. My legs started getting weak. I had a hard time catching my breath, and I was like, yo, I actually need to sit down. So I went to the break room, sat down. Of course, one of the charge nurses were in there. And I was like, yeah, kind of feeling like shit. You know, I can't breathe. My legs are a little weak. And then I get back up to go.
Yeah, don't tell a nurse that.
And-
She'd be like, "Oh my God, like you're in trouble."
Well, no, and thank God, because it's actually like a good thing that I'm exploring.
Yeah, well,
why
it
that's-
led
why it's
to
happening
him figuring
me.
out what's going on,
Well,
opposed
yeah.
to your shitty like whatever. I don't. Anybody coworker at Cofair would be like, "Bro, just go get some fresh air and drink some water. You'll be all
Go out
right."
and smoke a cigarette and come back in.
Oh, dude. Honestly, if I was able to go step away and relax, I probably would be fine. Because when I play video games, especially League and, you know, more recently
queue,
Rust,
you
it's
just-
like I get that same feeling, and I just like, guys, I gotta go lay down. They already know because I've told everybody that I play with. I'm like, yo, I'm having something. I'm seizing up, and they're like, all right, see ya.
skip a match.
Yeah, 10, 15 minutes. I'm good to go.
Yeah.
But yeah, I sit down. I'm like, I go back to work. She's like, are you feeling good? You need me to call the RRT? And I was like, no, I think I'm good. I mean, of course, still feeling it. And then as soon as I get back to my little kitchenette, she's like, yeah, go sit back down. I called an RRT. And I was like, God damn it. So, no, kid you not, like, police officer, you know, and of course, these are like, you know, VA police officers, like retired guys that come in still on payroll, but they're like, you know, they have freaking body vest and all this shit. There's a dude carrying a thing to prick your finger to check your blood. Another one carrying oxygen. Another person sitting there checking your vitals with the pulse ox. And I was like, dude, what's going on? So I was like, kind of freaking me out. And then I heard the fucking ambulance and I was like, God damn it, that's for me. I like, that's the worst thing because I probably have to pay out of pocket for it, but it was weird.
I mean,
It was real weird.
Things lead to you discovering that you suffer from a form of anxiety. But I know he'd play League of Legends and he would.
And dude,
start
this
to-
has been
he
going
would
on
start
for
to
years.
cramp up, and now
That-
he was playing the other
It's
day.
been
I was
going on for
talking
at
to him
least
in
3 or 4
Discord,
years.
and he's like, "No,
That's
dude, I'm
nuts.
cool as a clam playing. He doesn't have his panic attack, so he's playing League anymore. It suppresses his anxiety, and it's like that's crazy." I get it though because League is so mentally and I don't want to say physically, but it's mentally taxing. And then definitely League's not like playing Call of Duty where you drop in and like you die and then you respawn. You don't
Right.
really get the anxiety of dying because there's no real sacrifice. Whereas like in League, like there's a lot of huge mistakes that you can make, and the anxiety that builds up with one skirmish at 15 minutes can like set the tone for the next 20. And so there's a performance anxiety. Like, oh, if I need to do really well in this lane because I'm going to be behind or whatever because this person's a little bit better than me. It creates a tone. And so like if you don't set that tone or you don't meet that tone, even if you did, there's an anxiety build up to I need to do this.
Right.
That expectation. It's a performance anxiety, and he would suffer from it really bad.
Well, I mean, I could see that. I mean, like, there's for anybody it's going to be different, but whatever you take super serious, there is some anxiety that goes with it.
Sports and everything.
Right. I mean, it's not.
It was kind of like my sport because I liked it.
Exactly.
I was.
But you didn't get it in hockey,
exactly.
did you? Ever? Did you?
No.
Really?
No, it's only when I have like time to
Overthink it?
overthink it.
Yeah.
It's so
that's
dumb.
where
If I could
anxiety
just-
comes from.
Dude, if I could just like slow the brain drain down, it would
Yeah,
be,
but that's not League. League is a lot of maybe
it's a lot of information.
he doesn't
coming at you at
doesn't
once.
satiated that level of understanding because I'm like
No, I
I'm like
don't. I
I'm like
don't.
2 tiers
I'm-
above him in League.
I'm
And
literally,
so
I literally
the,
like dive into people and just like dive.
the
because I think I'm gonna kill
pre-education
someone.
and layering and like pre-strategy that can go into a League of Legends game, and then executing that and trying to meet that, getting into flow, and then like that will cause a lot of anxiety because it can get very serious very fast.
Absolutely.
Well, I've never
sorry,
played,
before-
but I do know
before-
it's a big game, but I do know it's a serious game for a reason. Like
The
serious
problem
gamers
with it-
play it.
the problem-
that actually are
the
good
problem
at it.
with
They're
it,
serious
Alex-
gamers.
Yeah.
It's not just like a basic game.
So the
I
problem
know
with
that.
it that I
Yeah.
think causes a lot of that, Alex, without you understanding it, is if you went into a game of basketball and understood like, all right, like we need to win this for the clinch playoffs maybe. You'll go in and you'll be a little nervous and stuff and you'll play it. And even if you start to realize that like, all right, this second quarter went really bad, it doesn't change the third and fourth quarter in sports. You could have the worst second quarter of your life, go into halftime, get your break, boom, come back, and you could triple double the rest of it. You know what I mean? And like that's how sports can be. And I know I'm referencing basketball because you played it, because it doesn't dictate the next half. Whereas in League, your early first 12 to 15 minutes can dictate the rest of the game so severely that the pressure is on. And like that doesn't apply to a lot of sports
Yeah.
because it's
I guess
always
it might
like
just be the pressure.
even in baseball, like we had a really shitty bottom third. But then you ace 5, 6, 7th, 8th, and you win the game.
Well,
Or even basketball.
I
In
mean-
League of Legends, because of the way the scaling is,
I got a good way.
well, I don't know, but so when you go against a competitor in most
good
sports,
conversation.
when you go against a competitor in most sports, like basketball, football, they're always the same. They might kind of like be hot or like be in their zone, but like in League of Legends, when you make those mistakes that allow people to get ahead, it's a very nuanced scaling system. In Call of Duty, you always spawn with the same gun. If everybody spawn
Right.
what's the most recent Call of Duty you played? Modern Warfare 2? Play a lot of Modern Warfare 2?
It was like the one with the second zombies on it.
I don't know, COD, Black Ops. It doesn't matter.
Black Ops,
Black Ops.
Yeah,
Black Ops.
it was
Doesn't
a
matter.
while ago.
Doesn't matter. I was just trying to find one. So in Call of Duty, even if that person's on a streak, they're always going to spawn with the same assault rifle
Right.
and the same.
Right, you can have
SMG.
different skins
They're
on it and
they're
stuff,
good.
but-
They're killing you, but like they have the same equipment every time. Whereas in League of Legends, as you start to suck more, it's kind of the same process of kill streaks. Now your anxiety is going to ramp because you sucked so bad in the early game. This person all of a sudden has double damage on you and they're getting kill streaks. And then you
think
start to
it's
suck
more of
more,
a-
they get triple damage and they have even better kill streaks.
So you can start the demise.
It's almost like a better.
it's
a
how
better
how
reference
League
for
scales.
that is a gun game. So like,
Yeah, that's not bad. That's not bad.
yeah, gun game like, yeah, you spawn next to someone who
This is trying
just getting ahead
us
of you
trying
and
to explain to
bah,
you
bah,
that
bah,
League of Legends is in a scaling version. So everybody starts technically ahead or behind in the early game, but what you do in the first 12 minutes can exponentially increase that. And I can make a stupid example in basketball. Imagine if a guy started to score 6 times in a row on you in the first quarter, like he's just draining threes. All of a sudden, he has 25% likely increased chance to score a 3, and he's 10% faster. And it keeps scaling as he
Right.
continues to do it. So League really puts this mentality in your head that you have to be on par at the very least.
Right.
Not even that, but
Well,
if you
yeah,
start to
a little
make
bit of
mistakes, you start to make mistakes, you're going to get punished way more for it. So it makes you even more anxious to not make those mistakes because
Right.
it's going to get worse if you don't.
Right.
Whereas basketball, that dude's always going to at least be that good at his layups or his threes.
Well, so for basketball though, you got to remember, I played basketball since in between 4th to 5th grade, and I played all the way my senior year in high school. I played all year round. I was playing AAU basketball over the summer when I was in high school. I was playing, there was always something off the year, and you're always working out and training harder over the off
you're
season.
drilling.
So when you get to the season, you do get a lot of anxiety because you have been preparing and trying to be as good as you can for how long without actually facing like true teams for your school.
You're not skirmishing.
So-
you don't know where you are in the picking order yet.
Right. So like there is a lot more that goes into it. So like each game, the reason why you get anxiety is because you have, at least me, I gave everything in the off season to try to become as best as I can at what I was doing.
Naturally.
You have a ladder to climb.
Right. So all that time and effort, you get anxiety and fear of losing and not getting, to states and try to qualify for states and try to win state championships just because you work so hard for years, all year round, 12 months a year. I was playing basketball. I was at least practicing 4 days a week in the gym too.
Jesus.
Yeah.
And that's the off season. During on season, I was practicing 6 days a week and working out.
Did you have another sport to complement it, or were you just pure
Well,
basketball?
Just basketball because my mom wouldn't let me play football because of the contact. I always wanted to play hockey, but growing up, my parents weren't the richest.
That's
so,
an expensive
That's an
one to get
Yeah.
expensive
into.
So and then
And even then, the contact there is very
right.
real.
but then
It's underrated. Like they
Right.
don't realize how
Right. Although basketball is more physical than you think, though.
No,
Oh,
it
I'm
is.
sure.
It is.
Sure.
But in
There's a reason
terms
why
of
you get big for
in
basketball
terms
too.
of head trauma,
way
hockey
less.
and
Way
yeah,
less.
Yeah, but like people,
But like knee
people-
injuries, ankle,
people-
you have a higher chance of getting injured for your career, and actually
Basketball.
football actually like soccer is the most
Soccer?
Yeah, soccer has the highest injury count, and like
Why?
because of the intense running they have, the endurance running. They run for like an hour straight if you think about
So-
it, and how big that field is.
But is that contact injury or just exertion?
just
injury?
like total injuries, not like physical injuries.
So there's
but
this
like
weird concept that
career-ending
a loose
injuries.
body doesn't injure, a stiff body does, and I feel like. I guess I'm speaking out of experience, but like when running, sometimes I definitely feel stiff, but you also feel loose after running a lot. So I'm surprised they have the most injuries. If I had to guess loosely, I actually would think that basketball has the most injuries because of
They have a ton.
the aerobic movement
And the
then
physicality,
and
'cause
it
you-
is
yeah.
it is
knees,
unmentioned.
ankles.
And then
I
there's
have
a lot
torn
of
ACL,
there's a
so-
lot of unsolicited injuries from
Yeah.
basketball, from physical contact, like posting somebody.
Oh,
and
yeah.
like touching an elbow to like an area that
Go
like,
ahead.
Yeah.
I used to guard Alex Borders, our center. He was 6'6", and he used to hate playing me on the post, even when I was defending him, because I knew how to put my knee in the back of his. I could move him off the block.
Yep.
Because I used to play center when I was a kid.
Oh,
so,
yeah.
So like I was very good in the post, and I would score on him too.
Like
with my post
Shaquille
moves.
O'Neal was a scorer in the paint, but he was also a bully in the paint.
Right,
You know,
like-
like he'd wear you down just trying to.
Right.
Like,
I imagine
yeah.
trying
like,
to stop
he
Shaq.
would elbow, knee, and
He was
hip
one of the
you.
most dominant players of all time.
He would elbow, hip, and knee the piss out of you inside the paint for that rebound, to where you'd be so tired that you'd be like, I'm not even gonna fight you for it.
If they were see
That's
like
how like people like these Duncans, these Shaquille O'Neals, Drummond was like that too, wasn't he?
Yeah.
A lot of these big guys that they put in center, they're just
physically
muscles.
demanding. Yeah.
Yes, physically
Dwight
demanding.
Howard.
To where
have you seen Dwight Howard?
you might be capable of over jumping somebody, but they will tire you out so much trying to position that you're like, I'm
Well,
so exhausted,
yeah.
I can't.
Jesus.
Yeah. So,
That is nuts.
but now,
Yeah.
but now my
That's
flow
nuts.
state for basketball, like every game, I just get in that zone where I was just focused on the game. I didn't hear the crowd and stuff.
Yep, flow state.
But
You're thinking about where you're gonna go as a point guard,
Right,
who's
but-
moving, who's
right.
on, who's slow,
But-
who's
open,
fast
who's
on
not open.
defense.
But there was one game in particular, my senior year, we were playing Fairview, and they had a sophomore point guard, Andy Nyland, who's really good. All I heard,
How's Andy Nylon doing these days?
he ended up playing for Barron, but his dad was the coach, so I don't really count it. But
Yeah.
but I mean,
he got
besides the
milked
point.
into it.
Yeah.
Anyways, go on.
So he didn't play very much for Barron, but he was on the team. But besides the point. So all I heard was he was gonna drop stupid numbers on me, and I was our top defender, so I always guarded the best guy. I ended up having the game of my life. I think I had like 28 points, and he only had 2, and he scored his 2 points when I was on the bench. I only came out once.
Okay.
So I snapped. I was on the news and everything
Nice.
for that one. But that was the game where literally I caught the ball and I was shooting threes. I already knew it was in. I didn't even think about it. Like,
you got dialed in. You look up. No one's covering you.
Dude,
Bang.
I would have made it. I mean, I Euro stepped a guy, laid it in. I mean, I was
You're in
playing
your flow.
really
You're in
fucking
your
good.
flow.
Yeah, but like that one.
And then when you hit that release,
because I made everything.
That Firo,
I made everything.
You're like,
though.
I'm in
Other
the
games,
shit.
you know, you had certain moments like where you're off.
Oh, dude,
he didn't score at all.
No, that's
and
not the
I
flow. That's the zone.
Yeah.
You were in the zone.
But
Right.
you know,
I was going
that is the
off.
flow. That's just the
I know, I
zones.
feel it. I
The
feel it.
glorified
And also, we
version.
only played
I feel
8-minute
it.
quarters. The pros played 12 minute. So
Yeah.
for me to score 28, only playing 8-minute
Yeah,
quarters.
a little tighter.
That's a lot less time. So you have a
Because
lot
like
less
a
shots.
pro
total for a
game
team.
is like 60 to 100. So like
No,
his
they're
is
scoring like
like
120 now consistent.
yeah, but they're on. So like what he's saying is their high school games were like 60-point games.
Yeah.
and he scored half of them. You know?
Yeah.
like that's like scoring 50 in the NBA right now.
Yeah.
and that's a lot of points.
And the other guy scored like 2, like I said, and I wasn't even guarding him.
Yeah,
That was like my like perfect game where I
Nice.
knew everything was in. That was my flow moment in my life.
My flow Furo is the kitchen.
You're
The
just-
most.
I'm
memorable.
actually
you're
getting
just-
into
when you're
cooking
just
more.
no
I've been
peeking
watching a
steaks.
ton of cooking shows. I want to get into it, but
It's a craft.
like you have to like they slave on the weekends because that's when people come in, and that's just
It sucks.
And that's just
Dude, it sucks. But
I love food, but I don't know if I can go for it.
dude,
you have to really be passionate about the craft.
No, ask Allie. I watch all these gourmet ones, like the top 50 restaurants in the world. Like I watch all that shit,
Yeah.
and it really intrigues me.
All those people are passionate.
I
Dude,
want to
try
get into it,
Try it for a little bit. It's fun.
but you know,
Cook for yourself.
But
You'll
I
enjoy
already
it
have
more.
school loans. I don't want to go back to school. You know what I mean? Because I already
No.
had trade school in 1 year at Kent. I
Dude,
gotta pay
Well,
for it.
dude, you can
Everyone's
learn
looking for a prep cook.
Dude, you can learn whatever you want, and not to diminish his career because they won't honor you at the Sheraton like they did him. But you go on YouTube and learn how to cook and be a sous chef on YouTube. Like you can learn a lot of this stuff.
No,
But
you can learn a ton. I
Well,
mean,
I watch
have
cooking
you-
shows,
Have you
too.
watched Binging with Babish?
No,
at
not
all.
yet. Where was it on Hulu?
You have to.
Netflix.
YouTube.
Oh, see,
I don't know that-
Dude, no, but his
I
story,
know, I know.
his story is so important. Like, self-taught, didn't take a lick of school
Really?
for cooking. This dude like grinded books, grinded videos, and put out like
make yourself worthy.
yeah, he put out videos that he remade Ratatouille. He made the fucking Krabby Patty from
Oh,
SpongeBob,
okay, yeah,
like
yeah, okay.
like iconic like pop
Okay.
pop culture
Yeah, yeah,
things,
yeah.
and but.
But
You
the
know, and then
Krabby
he
Patty
put-
isn't
he
even
put-
crazy.
But no.
Hold on. What's in the Krabby Patty? I'm
know.
going to interrupt you because I know. Well, only thing
dude.
that's in the Krabby Patty is a cheeseburger with love. I've seen SpongeBob cook the Krabby Patty, and he puts a little smiley face on it, on two pickles, and he lays the cheese on it. They're
I
going
think
to
there
bed.
is there.
But
there
what I'm
has to be a
saying
Krabby
is-
Patty secret formula. He has it written down. So there is
memorized.
a true. So if you could find that,
There
you
is
could
a
try
true
to
one.
make it.
There is a true
as
one.
close to it. It's
No,
it-
but dude, it's
in the
it's
episode.
crazy. Like the flow and Furo of the kitchen. Like, you know, of course, most of the days you go in there, it's
Cooking is an art.
ass. Like,
That's why
Yeah,
I.
you
Want,
said it's
that's why I'm
ass.
starting to like it. Though.
well, hang on. It's
But
ass.
after I say cooking's an art, he says it's ass.
ass until you get that like the few moments where it's not like
Yeah.
okay, you're in there grinding, dude. Kid you not. First day I go in there, one culinary class under my belt. I told the GM, I was like, yeah, throw me in the kitchen. It was either kitchen or front desk. I said kitchen. And, you know, we go in there, cut the hand, you know, tie it up. We're still cutting, you know, we're going. The chef was just eyeing me out, you know, seeing what was going on. Yeah, like I knew what I was doing, so he put me in there. And, dude, I was on the line with a sous chef. So I cook a mid-rare filet. Had no idea what I was doing. I was just like, kind of squeezing it with the tongs. Mid-rare. Here you go. He's like, perfect. And then dinner rush came.
Flow, get it done.
And then the only quote from that night that I'll remember it for the rest of my life. He's looking at the saute guy because, you know, we're lining up dishes. You know, saute's making, you know, noodles and shrimp and all this stuff
Whatever.
for, you know, to complement what I'm making on the grill. You know, not only for tables, but for the plates. You know,
Yeah, he's making the
slap
shrimp
Right.
to your
Yeah,
slap a
exactly.
filet, a cut
Right.
filet on top of this pasta dish.
Or, yeah.
Yeah,
They
because
need
you
to
have
come together.
teams, Yeah.
And all of a sudden he's yelling. He's like, I have the peanut butter and not the jelly. I have the jelly and not the peanut butter. He's like, I just don't have the two parts working together. But dude, once I learned that, dude, there was a point where, I kid you not, I had probably like $500, probably maybe even more on the grill at a time.
Yeah.
And I was just like,
And he's
you're
just
done.
eyeballing
Right,
his piece
You're
of
done.
meat.
Oh, you're done. You're done. Setting it off, put some butter over it and make it taste better. And you're going, but it's that later
Flow state.
the later Furo state came in when
Once
you're
you were
looking
like,
around.
bro, I haven't had a
Dude,
mistake.
right in the center of this intense moment of like, good like 10, 15 tickets on the thing. You're like, I got this. Like, you're going, you got deep fryers down. You got stuff you have to cut behind you, mayonnaise to throw on this. It is insane. I love line work, and I honestly probably need to get back to it because I think a part of the reason why I've suddenly experienced this like semi-overwhelming like stress and anxiety in my life is because I don't have that at the moment.
Right, like that
maybe.
was your escape.
I'm doing the same thing every day.
I mean,
And that was
anxiety.
just
Anxiety comes from everything, but the I think it's what
if I
I
had that
mentioned
for so
earlier
long-
in this video is the depression and the unhappiness in your life and or what you do for a living, and it's not necessarily what you do for a living. Why you might feel the lack of job satisfaction is because of the lack of flow and Furo is what this guy was getting at. That's where you can find yourself.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Well,
that might be it.
Well, because Casey, I know you watch Dave. So in that, but
Who's Dave?
Well, let him finish. Let him finish.
So it's a series on Hulu. It's called Dave.
So
It's about Lil Dicky.
Lil Dicky, I've seen this-
Absolutely
dude, I started
hilarious. I binged the whole thing. There's like 3 episodes on the second season. I watched it all. It is great.
I started watching
So
it at the
awkward
beginning.
funny.
Lil Dicky made his
Awkward
own
funny?
TV
No.
show, and I,
Yeah.
Dude, it is great. It is
brought it up.
absolutely
I started
fantastic.
I
Yo,
need to get
love
back
it.
into
Well,
it.
I love
hold on. He brought it up today, and I was like, bro, someone told me to watch Dave. Actually, it was Anthony.
Yeah.
I haven't published his chapter. It's
Okay.
chapter 5, and he mentioned Dave. And I was like, all right, I'll get around to watching because I love Lil Dicky. And he mentioned
awesome.
it today before you came
It's
over.
awesome.
And I
My
was
girl's
like, bro,
into it. She's almost through it now.
I started
Really?
watching it, and I binge watched probably about 12 episodes yesterday. And he brought it up, and we started bullshitting about it.
Yeah. So, but so in it, the character Gata, he ended up being diagnosed bipolar. Now, I'm
Yeah.
not saying you're bipolar, but I do know from that you have a higher chance of having symptoms once you're over the age of 25.
Yeah.
So
Because your brain's fully developed.
right. So I don't know if that correlates with it. Maybe like the older
so
you
weird.
get, you may have a higher chance of getting it. That's why you didn't have
And,
it maybe
yeah, a few
as
of the
bad.
people-
There's
earlier.
a thing with that with bipolar.
I don't know if it's correlated. I just know about that from the TV show.
Wait a minute.
I don't know.
Wait, hold on. Let me
But-
take the floor here for a second because I have a personal case. I won't announce the name, but someone I'm really close to mentioned someone else they're really close to, and how that person was like valedictorian of their high school class, super smart, crazy, like normal. And then as they like got a little bit older and they apexed at like 20, that's when they're whatever, like he said, when your brain, your prefrontal cortex and your brain doesn't finish developing until about 25, 26. So while it's still growing and like replacing a lot of cells and still growing, it hasn't actually like that area of weakness hasn't settled in because you're still developing. That's why I say like a lot of substance abuse can have an effect on your mental state because you're not a fully developed brain. It's like well, as your biceps growing when you're a teenager and you like don't work it out, it's fine because it's not fully developed. But then once it's fully developed, you're like, oh, well, it's weak because I don't work it out. It's like the same thing with your brain. So this person, without, I don't want any context being spilled, but this person was like super shining bright, tons of like scholarships and stuff because they were like a top 10 at collegiate, really smart, all of a sudden is so bipolar and disillusional that they're making... I'm even going to skew this detail because I'm going to change it. But this, if this person's listening, they'll know. But they were making a dish and they were like Facebook Living it. I'm changing the dish, but let's say they were making a meatloaf. But instead of it being a beef meatloaf, they're making it out of chicken. And they were adding M&Ms. And they were also, before it goes in the oven, they were putting cake frosting on it. And they were like, white people can cook too. And they were like doing weird shit. And they were like twerking and like... and it was like, what? Like, what happened? And all of a sudden, this person's like so disillusioned. And then, like I said, I'm changing a lot of context here. But it is this person that went from shine bright like a diamond to suddenly, as they started to hit that full
'cause
prefrontal
I
cortex
think
maturity,
pushed so hard too, because that's not good.
it
on
could
a
be
kid.
stress potentially,
Right?
But
Because like stress is one of the worst things for you. That's what ages you the quickest, honestly, in life is stress. Believe it or not.
Dude, I think that's the biggest reason why I'm so somewhere in the back of my mind, conscious soul, whatever the hell you want to call it, afraid of this, because I'm like,
It's not good for you.
why am
It's just not.
why am I allowing myself to feel it? But
expectations.
I don't understand it. And
Yeah.
it might be expectations. It might just be, know,
Yeah.
how I grew up or like the environment I was around.
Sure,
People I
100%.
surrounded myself with, all these other variables that come into play, and then all of a sudden you're like, what? I'm just trying to not let it fuck with me.
Well, that and or genetics. I mean, don't get me wrong. I don't know.
That'll factor a little bit.
Because we only know very little about it. That's
yeah.
the future right
Or
there.
even
Once we
womb.
get that
Genetical.
down 80%, I'm telling you, it's gonna be a game changer. That's the new wave.
It's just, I think that's the biggest thing, like, daunting me and my mental breakfast is the, like,
It's crazy how
why-
much of an impact I've had on this dude's morning. It's not a bad thing,
well, no,
but
it's
it's just
funny.
crazy.
It's funny because when I leave, like, even the last time I went home, like, yeah, I thought about it, but I don't wake up every morning and be like, that was a good mental breakfast.
Right.
But you still
you just remember
think
certain
about your
ones,
mindset every morning. That's all.
like bigger ones.
But it's definitely become a larger part of what's going on right now. Like, why am I feeling this right now?
So are you
26.
guys?
Well, and to me that would be the most frustrating part is because
And that I think,
because like
I
if
think
you're
I'm
in like
adding-
a super stressful moment and you get one, it'd be like, okay, I just need to get myself into a place where I
It's
won't
not
be
that, like-
in a super stressful place. If it just happens randomly, that
yeah,
would
it's
suck.
like
you-
random video game time with Mac and the boys, and we're gaming. I would, turn into a fucking meatball. Let's go lay down. I'm back. We're back. And then it just starts like traveling with me to places where it never happened before.
Well, see,
and
like,
then
I don't-
doesn't stop after that.
I don't
I'm
know
like,
how you still play, to be honest with you, because if I did
I've
anything,
played
no
since I
offense.
started taking.
He dropped it a lot. He completely dropped it.
Oh,
He was
really?
like, dude, I can't play it. Even
Yeah.
Oh,
even
I
in,
dropped League entirely.
Oh yeah.
Well, because
So
like,
it's
I dropped
there's
League entirely.
there's two
you
separate
love it, but
Alex.
it's harming you that bad.
Well,
you
Alex,
know?
there's two separate variants in it too. There's the version that's like a draft where you just do it for fun, like a social game, and then there's the ranked version where you scale the ladder.
And I was
so it's
starting to
different.
have- I was starting to have
even hold on,
panic
hold on.
attacks.
On the normal one. So like the difference between you playing a like competitive school sanctioned game
Right.
is gonna have anxiety, whereas versus a hey dude,
Summer League or something, it doesn't have that.
Casey,
Doesn't
me and
matter.
Casey,
Right.
Me and Casey going to the park to play
You
a game
wanna
of
win.
2-on-2.
You always
where you're
wanna
like,
win, but-
you're
And that
having
was
fun.
scary because
Well, separating the having fun in a pickup game to
Right.
like a competitive game, he would still get it in that pickup
Yeah,
game.
Dude,
yeah,
and the last,
and that's not
that was the
right.
last time I played before starting this medication. I literally sat down, even in my head, I was just like,
Having
there's
fun.
nothing else to play. No one else is on. I'm just going to play a game of League, a fun game of League, because I didn't want to go to the dark space.
Right. You're
And I
like,
still went to the dark space.
yeah, that would suck because
Yeah,
like you,
ruins it.
Still
Right,
went
right.
there.
It ruins it, and like
It's crazy. We're getting there. One
So-
day at a time.
Are you guys ready for the next chapter?
What? We're skipping a
It's a,
page?
it's a new question that Jake's
Oh,
never
no.
experienced, but I gotta
Ooh.
start with Alex. So the next question is, who is on your bleachers?
who's on my bleachers?
Ooh. It's on the bleachers.
Honestly, now I have a very small circle, super small, and my family. Honestly,
As you
I-
get older, the bleachers
right. I
shrink.
have C-Mac, Matt Borum, Mike
Matt
Nadreski.
Borum?
Yeah, Matt Borum, I've known him since OOP in like
Wait.
kindergarten. He went to McDowell. He was kind of,
Yeah,
I played
dude.
hockey.
Yeah, I played hockey with him.
Yeah, Matt Borum. Yeah,
That's my boy.
Yeah,
Guys on?
I used to go to a lot of his games. I probably seen you play then.
Probably.
Who was the
I need
hockey
to
house
fucking
that
hang out with
did you ever go to like the one hockey house where they used to have like Christmas parties together with all the hockey players?
No.
What was his name? Zach or something? I forget.
I can't remember.
Yeah, but yeah, no.
I only played for one season, but it was Dude, it was great. I met a lot of cool people.
Yeah.
I
no,
bore him. He was also in my homeroom, dude. I love
Yeah.
that guy.
I fished with him once or twice with
Yeah,
Alex.
I mean,
He's
I've
cool,
known
he's
him
chill.
since, like I said, like kindergarten. So I have Cayce, him, Mike Dadreski. I care about in a way, but he kind of dropped off on a bad note. So
Well,
I care about him, but I wouldn't count him close.
But is he on your bleachers?
I don't think so. And then Wesley Cotter. He's living in Pittsburgh now, but I'm so close to him.
Wait, Erie Fence, Wesley?
Yeah.
Okay, he's in Pittsburgh now? Is there
Yeah.
a branch down there? Or?
He's down there working. Yeah.
Whatever, something different. It doesn't matter, but
Yeah,
carry on.
yeah. So you want to go to
All right,
Pittsburgh?
so who's on your bleachers?
And then Greg Manishinsky, who I met through him, he is, but he also lives in Pittsburgh now.
So
But
what do you define as a spectator on your bleachers?
well, I see that's the difference. See, I'm like
There's no difference. It's just who you think's on your bleachers.
Well, no. See, here's
Who's
see,
all right? I don't want to
see-
spill it. Go on.
see like my bleachers because like I'm a popular loner. I know a ton of people,
Yes.
but people I call close that are actually on my bleachers is very small.
sure.
You see what I mean? So
People
that's
you
the
invite to
difference.
the game.
Right. You know, there's only so
That's
like,
fine. It's
yeah.
your answer.
Right.
But yeah. So what do you got? I interrupted you. Carry on.
Yeah. So I mean, it's small. I mean, like I said, I know a ton of people. But
That's fine.
But
Hey.
close is not much. And then, like I said, all my family.
You
I got a pretty big family.
You like
though,
a
all
small
over the
knit on
place.
your bleachers. That's
Well,
fine.
honestly, as time goes on, like drama and shit's just, I'm just not into it anymore.
Yeah.
Well, and then obviously my girlfriend, but
Yeah.
yeah, she's on the list. But I was just saying, like, boys, her, and like I said, my family, that's it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
All right.
Although
I like
although
this
I know
question.
John's on
Any
it.
segue, Jake, or do you want to fill in right on? Who's on your bleachers?
I'm going right in.
Go right in.
I don't know. Same thing with you. It's fam, 100%, and then close friends that I kept through
Right.
high school.
And
Jay, Casey.
Naturally.
I'd even consider, even though I haven't talked to the dude in forever, Amaya. I don't know if you ever met him.
I've met him several times.
Yeah, cool guy, super doctor. Dude doing his thing. Like, go for you, bro. And then I guess to kind of fill in the next question of like, who would you consider that, audience or like category of that audience or whatever. It's just people who have seen the true me.
Sure.
A ton of the people that I've worked in the kitchen with,
Nice.
like Oscar.
And you're in contact with him?
Oh yeah,
Cool.
tons of times. Always.
So
Dude, the last time we did this,
get together.
Um,
This podcast.
yeah, with Noah.
Yeah.
Noah, my boy Oscar was hitting me up like, "Yo, calamari's."
Nice.
The
Good.
place we used to hit after the kitchen.
Yeah.
It just
Awesome. You need those people.
yeah.
I manifest this question from the idea of who I forget where my true inspiration was, but generally like who are the people that are checking in, supporting, and are participating.
Right. Well,
And
because
so-
like here's the thing.
because not a lot
I
of
may not hit
people
you up for a
I like
while.
that.
not a lot of people will actually. I've been a firm believer since just after high school of like bridges. Like bridges and roads are two-way streets. So like you can drive across the bridge to somebody, but how often are they driving across it to you?
Right.
And that determines who is and isn't on your bleacher. You know what I mean? Like you can go and hang out with
like
someone
that.
like Luigi, or what was his name? The dude from Italy. Like he might have been cool. You might have hung out with him a couple times, but like
Shagun.
Shaggy, not Luigi. But does Shaggy hit you up and check on you? And if he doesn't, he's not on your bleacher. And so I'm like this. I'm infatuated with this concept that like who's on your bleacher. Like who's still around.
I mean, it definitely expanded my list quite a bit. Holy shit!
That's why I
After-
wanted to rehash on it. So I'll allow Jake to refill his bleachers with whatever he fills, and then Alex, you can, if you feel like input, then go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, it really continues on with the kitchen, to be honest.
You got a
But,
good circle of chefs that
Shagun-
respect the craft.
Shagun for sure.
Yeah, Shaggy's in there.
All the boys from Louisville, they hit me up constantly, just checking on me.
Great.
I
They're
was
they're
like-
supportive. They're on your bleachers.
Yeah,
Are
it's
you
crazy.
still cooking, bro? You running shit?
Well, because you guys put in a lot of hours, I believe, right?
Too many.
Yeah, exactly. So like you guys are basically working more when you're at home. So obviously,
We're essentially like family.
right, exactly. 'Cause
Yeah.
you spend so
And
much
that's-
time together.
I think that's
100%.
Yeah, that's a different segue.
Okay, I guess I do have a
just-
couple from Ridge
there's
Rock.
so
I was
many
there for
people.
3 years. Keith Green and then Bobby Purcell.
So you're still in contact? They're on your bleachers?
Yeah,
Check and see
because
how
like
you're
Bobby,
doing?
well, because Bobby's having fireworks, but honestly, it's down on like 22nd and Reed, so I don't know if I feel like going down there
Ain't
for
too bad.
fireworks.
If you're on 26, you're fine. But
22nd.
I don't know. I digress.
Well, my buddy Pat, he was on like 24th and he got shot. So, 24, yeah. So he's right in that area, unfortunately.
I mean,
so
you could be anywhere safe and find trouble though. So
True, but so I don't know if I'll be down there. But me and him keep in touch. I was just over there playing cornhole with him the other day. And then Keith Green, he was an older guy. He took me out to the casino on my last day.
Yeah.
But those two.
Is he on your bleachers? Though?
Yeah, those two. But other than that, like I said,
Family and friends.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's still
'cause,
small, but
well,
for
I
sure.
mean, generally,
Even
I
for-
am
no,
It's
pretty
just
nice.
it's a cool question
Well,
for
'cause,
you
like,
to evaluate who is
I
and
am
isn't
pretty
in your
laid
life.
back. I get along with pretty much everyone.
Yeah.
I can go into a room of people I don't
Yeah.
know, and people are going to at least going to know a few when I leave.
Right. Doesn't
But-
mean you're on your bleachers though.
Right, not to me. Just because, like I
Exactly.
said, with basketball,
It's
playing all
not
those
even
AU
just
games, I
you,
met people all
though.
over the country.
It's
But-
like who has the willingness to show up when you are on the spot.
But
You know what I mean?
But at the same time, I'm not the best. Like, I'm an adult, so I may hit you up every so
Right,
often because we all
right.
have lives to live here too. Because we're getting like I
and
said,
that's understandable.
we're all putting in
but-
hours. So
But-
shit happens.
But no. But
when the other one
no,
hits
not
up-
not to
But-
ruin you.
but-
But you put in time for the people that you want. to.
Right.
And so, you know what I mean? That person, uncle, auntie, sister, brother, ex-girlfriend,
Yeah.
if they want to, they will show up to watch you on your game. And that's why
I'm gonna fire back.
it's a
Who's on your bleachers?
I'm about to say, you want to ask us?
Yeah, you're
Nobody.
Come
I
on,
don't.
number
I don't.
three.
I don't chime in until reciprocated. That's become my rule for this podcast.
Okay,
because-
cool. I don't
No,
know if I
that's
asked you a
fine.
question last
no,
time, but
no, because
I'm
I
kind of angry because
I started talking too much on the first few, and I realized that like I subconsciously created this podcast through social realization of myself that I'm more of a talker. I'm not gonna go much too far into this, but I'm more of a talker because of my childhood, and I've wanted to become a better listener. I also like talking. I like listening, and so once I started talking too much, I keep going and I try to listen. So now I don't. In the first few, I would answer them. After
Wait, so you said you saw yourself as more of a talker?
I'm all a talker, because I was suppressed.
Dude,
My talking capability was.
I wish I went to the same school as you and
Well,
became friends with you then,
okay,
because I wouldn't be
okay,
such
Jake,
a fucking
Jake.
weirdo.
Well, let me finish.
Jake,
Because
I
Let
met
me
him.
finish.
Me and him.
I want
hung
to
out a
actually
long
hear this.
time
I want to
ago.
hear this.
I may have been around before you because
Hang on, wait a minute.
All right, I'll let you guys fill in, and I'll keep going.
that was a weird. Me and you,
Go.
how we first met was a weird
going.
time.
I don't even remember it. Fill me in.
So it was when you were living with your mom in Willowwood. I was living on Court
Hung out
Avenue.
a couple times.
Yeah, and then
Guitar Hero.
Yeah, Guitar Hero. So I met you way before him, and so we went to school together. But I met him then, and then we reconnected later on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I hung out with him way before I started hanging out with him consistently.
So
I hung out with him when we were
anyways,
younger kids,
just
and then we
to
got
hide
back
that.
together later
So
in life.
I'm not gonna go too detailed on it, but I had a suppressed opinion via circumstance when I was young. So sometimes I was never able to be heard. And so as I grew, I started to creep into, we searched the things we weren't given, or things, your childhood development affects how you are as a person. And I didn't realize it until, I don't know, I started to understand my social tropes a little over a year and a half or so. One of them is that in social circles, I try to outwardly project myself too much. And then when people talk, I start to get louder, and I start to have to be heard or be the center of attention. And I'm like, I didn't really want that, but it's because of how I was when I was younger. So now I'm trying to become a better listener. And through this podcast, I can listen to other people's experiences and learn from them. So once I started to realize, after what I created this podcast for, that I wasn't averting to my objective, and I was starting to talk too much after these topics would come at hand, I just started to become a listener. And now I don't respond to the questions unless I am asked to respond to the questions. So that's where I sit. And even the first two, nobody asked what my mental breakfast was. Nobody asked what, who's in my, and I'm willing to answer those because this is a 3-way conversation, but I'm
like
not
that.
going to subject you
like
guys
that.
to my opinion if it's not asked for. I have you two here today because I want to hear what your bleachers are. I am learning
this
through
podcast has probably heard a lot of your stories too.
I've
but-
learned through you two in your own way who's on your bleachers or what your mental breakfast is and what that can and can't be without having to express myself, and that's what I'm here for. So
Who's
the question
on your
was,
bleacher?
who's on my bleachers?
Yeah.
My bleachers are definitely my parents. They're easy. My sister's pretty busy, but she'll always be on my bleachers if I ask her to come. I think the people, a handful of people that I work with or some of the homies are very easy. Like they're the ones that inadvertently find out from, Facebook or whatever, or an event or two that like what I'm up to, but they want to know. And I don't know who all those people are, so I can't just immediately just assume that they're like like your mom, for example. Like I can't assume she's on my bleachers. But I think the people that are on my bleachers are the people that reach out to me. Like I said, I'm a very big proponent for since I was 19, and I kind of learned that I kind of learned that like you shouldn't put energy into people that don't put energy into you. And so like I've gained and lost friendships or didn't water friendships that didn't reciprocate that. Like I could drive to your
understand that.
house just as easily as you can drive to mine, dude.
I know.
Or
Same
what's
here.
up?
I
Like someone's
understand
like, oh yeah,
that,
we were at Doc's that night, and they're talking about it. I'm like, sick invite, dude. Like I'm not. They're not on my bleachers because they weren't like I wanted you to be there. And so the list is kind of hard to fabricate, but that's essentially
It's hard to fabricate
who I
for
feel
everyone. That was a fucking out of the woodwork.
who I feel is
I
on
like
your
that.
bleachers is it definitely changes on
And
day-to-day
now that
basis.
I have that's why I love the mental breakfast so much, is because I watched a lot of the
All my
snippets and
questions
stuff.
are
I
about-
watched a lot of the snippets on his freaking YouTube channel.
We love them.
And-
I picked good snippets.
Well, not only that, but you had interesting people. And
I picked people
they
for a
all
reason.
had interesting...
I liked your interesting. I wanted to invite you today for a reason.
Yeah, they all had different perspectives
bro.
of...
Something like that, huh?
Love you, bro.
They all had, different viewpoints on what their morning was filled with and how
Or
it
what
started
their
day.
career or whatever their life was,
Everyone puts their pants on one leg at a time.
So not even that, but
it's a
we haven't gotten to the
gonna put
meat.
mine in
We
that,
haven't gotten to the meat and potatoes question of this podcast, and we'll get there. But everybody has a human experience, and so his bleachers are different from your bleachers. His bleachers are maybe just family. Your bleachers are everybody you work with that supports you, or you know what I mean. Everybody's experience is different. I love this podcast because I can invite people on. I can invite someone on who's a tattoo artist. I can invite someone on who's a horse therapist. I can invite someone on who writes on the internet because they're just a writer. And their experience isn't necessarily squandered compared to Jeff Bezos. It's just their experience. It just isn't in the forefront. And I like the people that have interesting experiences. Even Jake's kind of lines up as, oh, he's just a line cook. But like the line cook has a ton of stories to tell you about people and what it means to work with them and to serve them.
I mean, basically all it is if you have more money, you're able to buy more experiences. Because let's just be honest here, if you have more money,
No, that's not what I'm getting at.
see, like
It's not
but,
what I'm
like,
getting at.
Well, it's almost like a price tag. So either like, I don't know, like people can go through life. Like I don't hate my life. Is it?
not at
I mean,
all.
is it?
You're living your best life.
right? I may somehow get the millions later. Who knows? Wait, no, my $1 million
Everybody
idea,
manifests
but-
their own destiny in a certain way.
But,
Jeff
you know.
Bezos had that manifest that he wanted to be a business mogul.
Well, there's just certain
Whereas you
people that have
manifested the life
money.
where you wanted to be comfortable. You didn't want to pursue, and I'm not saying this to downplay you, but you didn't want to pursue the entrepreneurship stress of shitting on people and finding your way and failing until you're a fucking 200 billionaire. You've manifested what you wanted, which was just a steady job, a good girlfriend, and everything you want, like time to fish and whatever, you know what I mean? Like your chapter isn't any smaller than Jeff Bezos's. Jeff Bezos's is just documented. That's all.
Not only
yours
that,
isn't
no,
any less
not,
important.
Not only
I'm not saying
no,
that.
hang on. Not
no,
only
I'm just saying
That's my-
he just has more money, so he's having like what you would say to us, like if you wanted a crazy night, right? You would pay an X amount of dollars. So if you have the X amount of dollars, he's doing some cool shit. He's traveling around the world. He has buku amount of money.
But he's
so
not better than you.
No, I'm not saying he's better than me. I'm just saying he just has the money to have what I would say like
But
a
still,
higher price.
I don't want to even.
We all experience about.
I don't want to entertain
ups
that
and downs,
conversation
but-
because it has nothing to do with money. Like it is nothing. Like a lot of people that I've not. I know people that are wealthy, and I could have them on here, but it's not. I don't chase the conversation with somebody that's made money. I chase the conversation
No,
with
I'm not
somebody
saying
who's
that.
done what they've done
No,
and
I'm
what their
not saying
experience
that.
is.
I'm just saying.
You're just spinning the conversation in your direction. Whatever that is. Not
okay.
right or wrong. Not right or wrong.
Okay, okay, but I'm just saying. Right now,
He's conversing.
right now, I would love to be him.
I shouldn't put labels on it.
If I could choose right now to stay in the life I have or go be him right now, and I could switch bodies and I could be, I'm gonna be him in a heartbeat.
I disagree.
I do it in a heartbeat.
I disagree because I think when we find if we have
really good
and this
conversation
dude this
about that.
this came from Dave actually, a different version of it. So I know that we with our own ambition, however we acquire ambition through our life or whatever we go through, we have ambition to do the things that we want. Your ambition might be to spend time with your girlfriend and fish. And what do you need to do that? Simple living. Jeff Bezos' ambition might have been, I want to be the top 5 most wealthiest. And I think we're
Right.
all driven in that direction.
Right.
And so like Jake's ambition might be like, I just want to cook and please people. And he doesn't have to be the person that owns 5 restaurants. He just has to be the person that's really
I
good
just
at what
want
he
to
does.
retire as soon as possible.
But your
I don't want a buku amount of money. I just want to stop working,
Yes.
have my plot of land out in Montana.
everybody
and hunt
wants
and fish.
financial freedom. But
That's it.
that's your ambition because you've talked to me on the phone about it. Your ambition is
Yeah.
to have a decent living in Montana
That's it.
and
I
do
just
hunting and
want
fishing.
enough money where I can just do what
So
I
you
want out
would
in the middle of nowhere.
you may or may not want to switch with Jeff Bezos. The only reason you'd want to switch with Jeff Bezos is because of the financial security that he
Yeah.
would offer, not
Yeah.
because Jeff's ambition.
have to worry about
Jeff's
anything anymore.
ambition is to solve a human issue and become really wealthy, and then from there he can decide what he wants to do. But the thing about Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk's, they've already reached the point where they can do whatever they want with their life. And Elon, after he sold, I think it was X.com or whatever his pre-venture was, and then it was PayPal. My details are loose, and then it turned into these other things. Okay, so after he sold what was turned into PayPal, he had acquired I think it was like $250 million. He had hit the monetary amount to do whatever his ambition was in life. If it was, I just want to go to Montana and hunt and fish. If that was an ambition, he would have acquired at that point. That wasn't his ambition. He got enough money. There's a concept of if money wasn't an option, what would you do? Like if you didn't have any money, what would you do? You'd go to Montana, you'd hunt and fish. That's your ambition.
I'd have 100 acres out in Montana.
But Jeff
That's all I
Bezos has enough money to satisfy maybe like the whole West Coast for a long time. But you know what he still does? He still does business ventures because his ambition is to be a businessman and to make more money and to do whatever. Now he's doing space shit and stuff. I'm not perfectly up to date on Jeff Bezos. That's his ambition. And so that's why I disagree when you said you'd switch positions with him. You'd switch positions with him because you'd have financial freedom,
that's it.
not because you want his ambitions. And so,
but if I was him, I'd be done. Just liquidate everything.
I
take the
think a
money
lot
and
of us,
just do whatever
especially at this table, a lot of us want.
True.
We
That's
want
it.
financial
That's all I want.
freedom.
Everybody listening in this podcast or in this circle of podcast.
They want financial freedom.
Yeah, everyone wants financial freedom.
Right,
That's the thing. But
right.
hang on, it's the way you get there. And I wanted to bring up a topic of the movie. I can't remember what the hell it's called. I want to say it's. Have you ever seen Project X? Was that it?
Where they have that crazy ass party.
Okay, wrong movie.
Prior to X, where they have that crazy party.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
I don't know why I always confuse it. So it's one where they go back in time. Dude, I love that. And that's Interstellar for me.
Oh, okay.
They go back in time and wacky stuff.
I will never go back there
But no.
because changing one thing can change the whole future.
That's exactly. I don't know why my brain clicked onto that when you're like, oh, I'd like to jump into Jeff Bezos' shoes or whatever, but you don't know what his shit was before he came what he was,
Oh,
Like-
yeah.
and I'm sure
exactly.
everyone
Right.
goes through their own different hardship, but in that movie, the thing that was clear to me, yeah, you flick something essential, the very bare minimum. You flick this domino in time, and it changes everything.
Right. Because it has like a multiplier when you know.
And it's crazy.
Yeah,
like,
it's weird.
Firmly believe that
it's a weird concept, and that's why I will never mess with it. I understand it's possible. I don't,
it's a weird concept, but
I don't know the math behind it, but I know it is a true thing.
Exactly.
I will never mess with it, and I know there's probably stuff that happens because of it here. Just saying.
Yeah,
but
probably.
All the
You
top
never
minds
know.
in the world are going to be on it. You can't, and they're not going to tell us what
And
they
dude,
know.
it's crazy to think of. I don't know why that came to my head. Casey, I was just explaining the.
Sorry, bathroom break podcast.
It's not the movie's not called Project X. I can't remember.
That's what it's called.
No.
The party one?
Yeah,
No.
but it's not that one. It's
He's thinking of a different movie like Interstellar, but
Okay, tell me what the movie is.
Where they go back in time. Bunch of kids. His dad had like a time machine in the basement. Through some lick of fucking luck and whatever, they get it working, and then they're able to go back in time. Then they start changing aspects of their life, like, they were trying to hit the Mega Million.
Right.
I don't even know what movie this is.
No, dude,
yeah,
it's super
okay.
good. They're trying to hit the lottery, but they're one number off. They still get a ton of money, but regardless, all these little effects in time change the outcome of what they really wanted. And I think that's kind of where it clicked into my head, where you're saying, do you really want to switch into that person's shoes?
Financial freedom's definitely under everybody's umbrella, but I know that Alex wouldn't want to be Jeff Bezos, because all Jeff Bezos wants is to be a successful businessman, and that's his pursuit. What Alex really wants is just to do X and Y, and Bezos is doing Z. But Bezos is able to do Alex's X and Y because he's financially freedom.
Exactly.
And that's why I challenged him and said, no, you don't want to be Jeff Bezos, because this is what, or Elon Musk hit financial freedom.
Dude, you just gotta get where you want to go with your own way.
But that's why I said
Figure out how to get there on your own.
You manifested, like everybody I've had on here, what they wanted inadvertently, because if you really wanted it, everybody is capable. To some degree, there's people that can't acquire.
I've been looking more into it, because if I get enough land up front, get as big of loan as I can for land out there, I can start taking guided hunts and then pay off the land. Because I could track the animals, and once they're in season, have an extra guest house, have people come there, pay to go hunt my land and take animals.
My
off
point
of it,
was, you're
and then pay
working
for the land,
towards.
and I can keep getting more and more. That's my goal.
You're subconsciously working towards what you want, whether you know it or not. Like, even if I don't know what I want right now, I kind of know what I want.
It can change. It's changed a lot over my life.
Oh yeah, you're
But,
like, when you're in your
goal-
teens, you're like, I just want to like party and play ball.
Well, no, my
you know?
end goal was to retire. Honestly, ever since I started working at 16. Ever since I started working,
You're like, fuck this.
I'm like, I am trying to do this for the least amount of time as possible. Okay.
I digress. Fuck this.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, this blows.
Yeah,
Working
it
is
blows.
stupid, and I'm gonna have to do it probably until I'm 70 years old. For
There's
what
not
they
a
say is on
person
pace.
that will say
I gotta
that
try to fucking,
they wouldn't accept 25 million or something that would retire you for life, you know.
Right.
But I'm saying
That's it.
your ambition of what you want, like Montana hunting grounds, you know, that
I'll fly you guys out.
you'll find a version of that
Yes,
that
sir.
you can acquire that, you know what I mean. So like, if you were like, oh, I'm Jeff Bezos, you know, 10 years ago, and you're like, oh, I'm gonna do all these businesses and stuff, that might not necessarily lead you to Montana, because it'll always be something that you're pursuing. That's what those guys do.
Well, yeah,
you
like
know?
that's what he enjoys, though. That's just his version of what.
There's plenty of
my
people
version.
that have done that, where they've reached financial success. I can't think of them, but then they'd stop and then they retire.
Well, I mean, there's a ton of people that have money, like Jay-Z. Look at him. He's worth $1 billion.
He's a businessman, though.
Yeah, exactly. He likes to hustle.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yep.
He only rapped you had enough to start up.
Yep. Now he's a businessman.
Right.
Has his own two
right,
liquors.
But he enjoys
and-
that though, so that's his Montana. So
His ambition.
that's why he has so much money. But what I'm saying is, his experiences I
Yep.
would rather have than what I have now.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Well, his flow and Firo is business success to payout, whereas
But
your
like, you see
flow
what
and
I mean? That's
Firo
what I'm
is,
saying.
is buck hunt or fish catch.
Jeff Bezos, you know what I mean? I'm just saying, I would be pretty much 100% of the people right now
Yeah.
that are worth over 25 million,
Yeah.
just because.
You could do what you wanted then.
Right. You know
Of course.
what I mean? Like,
of course. Not a person in this
Right.
world that won't say that that's exactly what they want to.
Right. So I would be Jeff Bezos in a way, because
But what does Alex want right now that isn't monetary?
Well, because like if that's his passion, then I'm good. You see what I mean? So like, I just want to get to
Sure.
my end goal. He's already at his end goal because he has so much money.
No, he's not.
He can do, but see, he has so much money that he can go into different ventures, and that's what he enjoys. So
Yeah.
he enjoys spending his time growing his businesses. Right?
Yeah, he enjoys the
Right.
hustle.
So I enjoy hunting and fishing, so that's my Montana. So that's what he enjoys. He just happens to be really good at it, and he has a lot of money.
Yeah.
You see what I mean? But I would rather have his life anyways
And I wanted to
because
state this earlier.
you could do whatever you want, and you're doing what you want, making buku money.
But who knows? I mean, what's Jeff Bezos' age?
I don't know, early 40s. I have no idea.
Yeah, no, like, he's
mid
younger.
40s. He's younger.
Yeah, lads.
Mid 40s maybe.
Yeah,
Lads.
I mean, he's
lads,
not,
lads.
Yo, okay,
We're,
okay.
we're mid
Okay.
20s.
Okay. So let me just Google Jeff Bezos.
We still have, like,
Oh, I know. I'm always trying to think on how I'm going to get there. That's it.
Yeah, of course.
yeah, and doing that, and that might be part of the,
But see,
the
like,
hustle to get where you want
that's
to
why,
be.
like,
Jeff Bezos is
It doesn't-
57. 57, sorry.
Okay, he's a lot
yeah,
more.
dude, he's like half dead.
I don't know. I don't
Yo,
know
average
that kind of
average
money,
life
I don't know.
expectancy for a male is 72. So he's like 68% dead.
He's kind of getting there.
Yeah.
I know, but I would enjoy
So
that
let-
last little bit rather than probably the.
Dude, what are you? Don't
I'm-
be fretting. Don't be fretting.
I'm just saying.
You're almost there. Just
I'm just
keep
saying.
grinding
Yo,
at what you're grinding
this
at.
road,
and you
this
got it,
road
man.
has gone so far. So
I don't even know what the last question was.
I don't know either. We
you
went on a
guys
big
turn
old
into who's
tangent.
on my bleachers, and I turned it into just I don't know whoever was.
I think I
crossing the same
started
road
it.
as
I
me.
turned it into
That's
the
okay.
absurdity that we
You
ended
guys,
with right
you guys
there,
turned it.
but-
It's
Hey,
okay.
you know what?
It's
These little
okay.
conversations that
So it's fine. I'm just saying it's crazy. But that's why I called you out on the whole like you don't want to be Jeff Bezos because Jeff Bezos doesn't have the ambition or he isn't aiming for the same thing you are. And I think if everybody didn't have a monetary requirement, the
That's
world
where
would be
money
different.
no.
sucks.
If
mom
we-
told me when
if
I was
we
really
erased
young-
monetary
Jake,
from that
Jake,
question,
Jake.
it would become a different.
Hold
thing.
on.
Right.
So my mom told me when I was like 17, she was like, if it'd pay the bills, Cayce, I'd work at Build-A-Bear. Because
exactly.
that's what
That's
she
all I care
enjoys.
about.
Is because I would just love to put a smile on a child's face
Right.
12 times a day. But it won't pay the bills. So she does something. And so I think we all yearn for that. Sometimes people get lucky. And I actually tell myself sometimes that like maybe if I was more closed-minded, I would be a little bit more happier. I think...
What do you mean by
well,
close-minded?
hold on. I'll spill this into a different reference that you can
Don't
you
forget
can
it.
understand. No, so there's three forms. There's three forms of happiness, or three forms of I forget how it goes, but it's there's a person that knows. So the person that does their fuck, I forget how it goes. Okay, there's a person that knows nothing and hears from other people what's right, which is like the news. And they are always miserable. There's a person that doesn't know a lot, but they search for what they want, and they're kind of happy because they look for what they're looking for. And there's a person that doesn't give a fuck about either, and they're always happy because they don't know. And that stemmed into I'm a little intoxicated, so I
All
forget.
right, perfect.
I'm forgetting.
I was about to tell you.
Hold
to
on.
pause.
Let me finish.
No,
I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
I
I'm not
have
ready.
to pee. Please go
All
into
right.
a tree branch.
Okay, so the reason why I
Talk
brought
about Skittles.
I've lost it twice now.
Well,
So, but basically, coming from the thing my mom said, if money wasn't a requirement,
Right.
she'd work at Build-A-Bear because she would choose to. That was like her ambition. She would just love to
Right.
make children happy.
now, don't get me wrong. There's like Jeremy Wade, who's like a angler, and that's his job. He travels around the world catching the most exotic fish, or like Steve
He did the
Hurnell.
Swamp Monsters, right? Who did that one?
Swamp. I don't know that.
I think that was Mikey. Mikey said that was his like dream job was the dude that did Swamp Monsters or whatever. where-
No, you're thinking of the one where they shoot the gators.
No. It was like the guy that would go and fish all these crazy.
Oh yeah,
I thought it was Swamp something or
No,
Greatest Catch or I don't know, but he would fish all these crazy shit. And
Yeah,
it was like that was what he
Jeremy
did.
Wade. Yeah,
Is that what it was?
He had it was on Animal Planet when I was a kid.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
he would like go to like African tribes where like this catfish has been eating children.
Yeah.
And he would like
Yep.
he would
Yep,
go out
Jeremy
and like
Wade.
he
Yep.
would like rig
And
a
he's, like, 70
special
years
fish
old.
and
Yep.
he would figure out what it was eating and he
Yep.
would like he would
Yep.
grasp this like river monster.
Yeah, well, the craziest one was a tigerfish. It was this gigantic thing in these rapids, right? And I think it was in Africa. And it took him like 3 months to catch this damn thing.
Yeah.
So then when
But
he
he was
about?
on.
yeah, but he finally got it. So then when he was about to put it back, or because he always catches and releases all the monsters, but the African tribe hasn't seen it in decades.
Bringing out Jesus.
And it's like a spiritual thing for them. So he gave it to him.
Yeah.
Like,
And they fed him for
that
like
is
a
my
week.
dream job.
Yeah.
But like, what are the percentages of me landing a job where I can go travel the world or hunt and fish?
He
And
got
then
lucky.
get sponsors to use
He
their
got
new
lucky.
bows and be like, oh yeah, I'm using my new
What are you
white
talking
bow on
about?
this, and I get
The river
free
monster
hoist stuff.
guy.
Yeah, he got lucky.
Yeah, you know what I mean.
Well, not
Or
really.
like-
He
or even, like-
manifested everything he needed to.
or even like Beastmaster. Have you heard of him?
No. So who
Or
was
not-
it,
or not
who was it I
Beatmaster,
was just listening to today? Was this
Mr. Beast?
yeah, this old
Where he
man
makes like $3 million a month doing
Hold
YouTube
on.
videos, and he gives a lot
Yes,
of money
all
back.
he
Like,
does
that's
is-
a dream thing.
all
but
he
what are the
does is
percentage of
give
getting
away
that?
money and he
I
makes
know.
money doing it.
I know. Like,
But nobody cornered that until him.
I know. That's the thing. I'm trying to think of my $1 million idea because I just want enough to stop.
So there's this
Once I'm
video.
there, I got it.
There was
I
this
just gotta
video.
think of the
Hold on.
weird thing to get me there.
Appreciate this, both of you. So there's this video that was promoted to me via the algorithm of YouTube.
The algorithm.
Yes, no, literally, it's the algorithm.
Oh,
So it was
it's
promoted to
always
me.
the
It was
algorithm.
advice from an old man. And I remember listening to like 3 minutes of it, and I like didn't, and I like moved on to other shit. And then it came back, and I put it in my watch later. I'm like, dude, this came back to me on my homepage, and it's weird because I like never finished it, and I saved it, and then eventually today I finally listened to it today. And it was advice from an old man. And he was like, I'm doing an update video because some of you guys like the advice from an old man. And I'm going to go ahead and pull him up real quick just to quote the guy's channel verbatim.
Although, dude, I was up early this morning. I'm getting tired. No offense. So I probably need to.
Okay,
Get
we'll,
back.
we'll get it running. So advice from an old man was Bernard Albertson, and I'm playing it. So he played the older version 7 years ago, and then he updated it, did it 6 years, and he talked about being what you need to do in life to do these things that you want is to make yourself worthy, and that's via education, like what that person did. What was his name? The guy that did River Monsters?
Jeremy Wade.
So what Jeremy Wade did is he did a lot of fishing. He educated himself on fishing creatures. He applied himself. And he didn't like Jeremy Wade's 22. He was an older man.
Yeah.
But he built up a
his 60s.
notoriety of being competitive and or
He
experienced.
was doing it since he was in his 30s, though. He's been like he's been an angler for
But my
30
point
years.
is he did so that there's another quote I'll reference in here is luck is when preparation meets opportunity.
I
And
gotcha.
so preparing yourself for what Jeremy Wade didn't just get lucky. I demeaned him when I said he got lucky, but really Jeremy Wade has been a fisher since he was young and
but-
applied everything he's learned to
Yeah.
these crazy circumstances, and he ended up
Right.
being that guy. So because Alex wants to.
Say that again. Luck is what?
So luck, people say they get lucky, but luck is when
Experience.
luck is when
Meets opportunity.
preparation meets opportunity. So when you
Going back down, bro.
we'll figure it out later. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. I'll worry about it later. So luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So people will say, oh, when they chip and they make it onto the green or something, or hey, when Alex runs on a clear and makes that three, he'd be like, oh, I'm lucky. Well, no, you're not lucky. You practiced that. Like your preparation found that opportunity, but you can say that you were lucky, but you prepared for that. Other people can get lucky in the sense that, oh, they won the lottery, but true luck is when preparation meets opportunity. So I'm going to shut that there with a period, and we're going to progress this on.
Cool.
I'm going to move to the meat and potatoes of this, and so we can move this along for Mr. Alex. So the premise of this actual entire podcast is the philosophy on the idea that life isn't fast, but the chapters are. And so we go through these chapters of life that can be very short or very long or find their own circumstances. Again, life isn't necessarily fast, but the chapters in life are. So that being said, what chapter of life are you on?
It's a very vague question.
I don't
All mine
know.
are vague.
I would say the back half because when I was younger, it almost felt like you were living with blinders on, right? Because like at least for me, like I was doing stuff and I understood it.
No, it's a good analogy.
But like I didn't fully understand.
It's a good analogy.
I am
because,
way
mean,
more
you-
mature now. I understand the stupid stuff I
Yeah,
did.
well, as you-
Jake,
what-
let him
what-
digest. Don't feed
I
him.
like that. I like that.
What the consequences are now. So up until honestly, I was about 19. I felt like I was living with blinders on. So I'm on the back half. Now,
Okay,
granted,
okay.
it's a long back half.
Sounds morbid, but what chapter? What chapter is it though?
I mean, if we're going like a chapter book.
If you were to name the chapter.
Oh, but not even that. Like, you be quiet. Let me narrate. So what? Like I said, I feel like life isn't fast. When old people tell you life is fast after a certain point, a man told me that life isn't really fast. It's kind of the circumstances in between. And these chapters of life can feel fast because they blend together. So what chapter do you think you're on?
See, for me, times like this is when time flies for me, because I'm not working. Because like work, I enjoy it to a way, but at the same time, it's still work. You do it every day. You get in the routine, so you put in your hours. You're kind of watching the clocks. You know what I mean? Even though you're doing stuff, so you don't watch the clock for a while, but we all get breaks. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you're watching for break time.
Yeah.
So you get in a routine. This is the time in life where time flies. But
when you're having fun.
But life to me is going to be long until I retire. That's why that's my goal.
Okay.
Because then time after that, it can go as fast as it wants. I'm enjoying it. I'm not held down to a job anymore. Like I said, I want to have land where I could be, even if it's not season, I could be scouting deer.
Yeah.
That's why I want. That's why I want it as fast as possible. Because I can't do that if I'm old.
Okay.
You see what I mean?
Right on.
So that like I said, I don't need a lot. And like I said, eventually I just want to move out there and then to like one of their bigger cities. They have their biggest city is like 56,000 people or something.
That's
tiny.
pretty small.
Yeah, and that's their capital.
Erie is like 100,000.
Right, that's what I'm saying. So like double check it, but I'm pretty damn sure because I've been looking into it. So,
but if it's less than 10K, that's fine.
Right. So even if we move there for right now, just to see if we actually want to do it.
Yeah, just to see the groundwork
and
everything.
But then she can still have a job. I can find a job
or whatever she's into.
And then if we're into it, then we find where we can get where we need to get from there. You know, I'm not saying I gotta hop into my 100 acres right off the bat. I can't afford that.
Just slowly progress.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
But that's the goal. That's why I ended up buying the house. Because we've already done updates to it. I know it could sell for more than it is in the area.
You're making moves.
Right. So instead of just banking money and paying it to an apartment, I'd rather have my own house because I have the freedom to kind of live how I want.
You're investing in yourself too.
Right. So I would rather have it paid towards that. I mean, it's all the same end goal.
Yeah.
And then you just take the equity, and then that's what I'm kind of banking on.
So what's your chapter?
See, in life, I always like the number 3. First half, I know it's a simple thing, but I like the number 3 and 15 for some reason. Those are my 2 numbers.
Okay. That's you.
Dude, I'm a big number guy.
I'm glad you put numbers on it. You're the first to do that. Go ahead, carry on, Jake. Let him talk. Let him talk.
So I like the number 3. So like I said, first chapter is when I had my blinders on,
figuring shit out.
Yeah, where I was just honestly maturing.
Yeah.
Because like I said, I'm not saying I know everything in the world, but like I said, I don't have those blinders on. I can understand.
Young, dumb, and full of cum.
Yeah, you know what I mean? I understand it.
I like that.
And it'll keep progressing as we get older.
Never heard that before?
Dumb and full of crumb.
Yeah, dude, I was stupid. Yeah,
cum?
I was stupid.
Young, dumb, and full of cum.
Yep.
I think my dad said that once upon a time.
Yep, exactly. And then my dad used to say full of piss and vinegar.
Yeah, same thing, just a different version.
Right, it's the same thing, but that's there. I'm definitely in number 2, but in the early part. Because 3 to me, like I said, is where I'm getting to retirement.
Figuring shit out and building
and then that's my happy ever life.
The second is the precursor to the 3 is what you want.
But now the second chapter is going to be the longest chapter.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Some people make it shorter.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe you'll figure it out.
You have you definitely have the piss and vinegar to get through the second
I like
chapter
that.
faster.
It's a very refreshing version of what chapter you're on. I
right.
Like
I keep it simple.
You're in your second chapter of 3, and 3 will be
I like that a lot.
you manifesting whatever.
I always like
want.
trilogies. They're always
that's great.
The trilogies.
Yeah,
that's
awesome.
dope. No, and I wasn't even gonna interrupt. I just do numbers like.
Big thing. I like numbers.
3, 5, 7. Dude. Oh my god. I just love.
I work with them every day.
I don't work with them every day.
So do I. But I do.
And they're still refreshing.
But I don't like. I feel like numbers can trap some circumstances. So if I said right now, Well, let's just say this is a soft idea, but let's say you had 20 chapters in your life, and all of a sudden I was like, I'm on chapter 17. Well, what the fuck, dude? Like, how long is 18, 19, and 20?
Right.
You know, so like,
Nah, dude, 17's a long
because even
chapter.
his 3 could be like, well, shit. What if you're on the end of your second or early third? Like,
Well,
dude, you're 60% done.
Well,
it can be as scary
well,
as
no,
it
I
is
know what you're
supportive.
saying.
Because here's the
I'm an
thing.
optimist.
Well,
Yeah.
But I'm just-
see the you see to me.
That's my spin on it.
Well,
That's
see,
all.
I keep it simple just because we all don't know how much time we have left on this earth. You
No,
know?
I'm not guaranteed
So-
tomorrow.
Right. So
yeah.
So
Hell
really, you could be on your final chapter. We don't know, so that's why I say 3. Make it simple.
That's what we're talking about.
Yeah, that's why you got to be here today. Dude, I'm telling you, you're going to listen to this in 6 months, 6 years, and 6 decades. Because it's Alex from 2021. That's why I made this podcast. So, I really do like his, if you will, 3 chapters. That's a very refreshing take
Because
on it.
you know what I mean. You can put whatever number you want
So-
on it, but you never know where you're at.
My interpretation
So
of the
that's why I say
chapter.
3.
Well, I'll let Jake talk, and I'll tell you my interpretation of the chapter concept that I had.
So re-ask the question for me.
Well, you know kind of already what it is.
Yeah.
So I won't go too long, but you know, understanding that, you know,
Yeah,
life isn't short. It's just the chapters that are. You know, so that mean there could be many chapters. And so what chapter is anybody on? And what chapter is Jake on?
Jake is on the same chapter he was on last time. It's just a different facet of it. I remember a different page of that chapter.
Yeah.
Alex is picking up on it.
Yeah, it's the last time I was here. I was like, you know, just
Figuring it out.
Yeah.
you know, figuring it out. Keep sucking up all the information and you know experience you can, and putting that to use in whatever you can. So I guess, yeah, I literally just flipped a page. It's a confusing page for me, but we're figuring it out. We have good people around me, and we're just trucking.
Some spectators on your bleachers.
Something like that.
We're just trucking. You
Yeah.
know, we're
So-
we'll figure it out, and that's the best part is
Every
Like-
page
like-
can
like
have a
you-
twist in it.
like you
every
ju-
book-
no, like
yeah,
you
of course.
just
Every book
said
has to have a
is-
twist in it.
Everybody has a different answer to this question that I've had so far.
Yeah.
But my interpretation of a chapter can be anything from as simple as this 6-month period where I was dating this girl and living in Boston to, hey, the time I was in college for 4 years to the time I was dealing with whatever, my military service to, you know, your chapter can be any length from 3 months to, 3 years. Doesn't matter. Everybody's chapter is different. I like that you kind of sectionalized it though. Like I really do like that. Not
Like I said, I'm just a numbers guy, and I've always liked 3. So
No, dude.
Yeah, that's great. No, it's great.
Also,
It's
look
great.
into it. The power of 3, man. I'm telling you, 3's and a
no,
lot
dude.
of stuff.
I mess with 3. I mess with 3.
No, it was really good. I liked it. I never numbered my chapters. I just said that was a chapter. Nobody knows how many chapters they have in their book.
Right.
You know, like imagine if every year of your life was a chapter. You don't know if you have 17 or 62.
Right.
So
exactly. I guess you could do it like that too.
I
That's a
can't
good way
put
to
a
do
number
it.
on each year because sometimes the chapters feel longer than that, and I've had a chapter change, but like I can't tell you that this chapter is going to be X long. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And even in every book you've ever read, the chapters aren't exactly like, oh, I
The
won't
exact
make a
number of
chapter
pages.
more than 20.
Exactly.
Like Stephen King's chapters will vary in page number.
Right.
You know, they're all different lengths because that's just that wasn't
Dude,
ready
and that's
to turn.
exactly what I'm talking about. To like put it in Alex's layman
Each of
number
Alex's
terms.
Right.
20 years each of his chapters. Something like
right,
that.
because like I'm
Dude,
probably
that's
gonna live
what-
to about 60 something. So if you put it in thirds,
And dude, that's what I'm
20,
saying.
40, 60. You know, I'm just saying three,
Dude,
three,
Yeah,
or 3.
young,
yeah.
That's what
building it, and then finishing it.
Right. You know,
That's what I'm
That's
saying.
great.
I'm definitely-
That's a really beautiful way of interpreting it.
If I were to morph it into the way you put it, it would definitely be exactly where the hell you are.
A lot of people are in their second chapter.
right. You know, we're in the middle here.
We're just checking. We're just
first
chilling
figuring
out.
it out, but we're not like retarded anymore.
No.
We're kind of understanding where
There's
you
a
know,
video
how-
game
We're
joke.
mature. We know what's going on. To an extent, we still have a lot to learn about
Right,
what we're
we can
doing
take
in
care of
life.
ourselves on our own right now.
There's a video
Very
game
early
reference.
chapters of it. but-
There's a video game reference that the first 18 years is a tutorial in a video game.
Oh, it is because like
Wait,
like
what?
There's a video game reference that like in life in like the first 16 to 18 years is a tutorial. Like if you play RuneScape, and you're like, oh, you can forge, or you can fish, or you can kill these spiders in this dungeon. And you're like, this is the tutorial. This is what you do. Boom, you're level 3. What are you gonna do about it?
I didn't know you were gonna reference RuneScape.
It's an easy one for some people.
But
anybody,
I used to play it back in the day. Me and Matt used to play it.
But the point is that there's an
ago,
example. Though. Even any game I've ever played that offered a tutorial. You know what I mean? Like even some stupid
everything.
ones. Like here's how you move, walk, jump, and shoot things.
Right.
You know.
Yeah.
Even that stupid.
Hi, my name's Jacob Bond.
Hey,
I just finished the tutorial.
What's that game?
That's where I am. That's my chapter.
So what's that game called? Arsenal, or what was that one we played the other day? Enlisted. So like the tutorial in that one was so simple. Here's how you move. Here's how you jump. Here's how you shoot. Here's how you crawl.
Yep.
All right. How good are you gonna do a multiplayer? Oh, here's a tank. Figure it out.
That is how I'm going to start because I've had the conversation with many of my counterparts in, hotels, restaurants, kitchens, just like in general, like business related.
The first
organizations and
gives you the tools to do it.
No, dude. The first thing I'm going to say is I just finished the tutorial.
Oh, yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
I just finished the tutorial.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Now I'm figuring out how to make something of it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Now
I have all this on my plate.
I am starting to play the game now.
Yeah.
Oh, my God.
The game of life. We're starting to play it.
Love that. The fact that was brought to light. Oh, nice. Good shit.
We're all playing the game of life, baby.
Absolutely.
The tutorial's whack.
Well, that's meat and potatoes.
What
chapter you on?
No.
I've been very satisfied with your answer.
I had so much fun during the tutorial.
For sure.
The real version is not as much fun. A lot of the time.
The tutorial is simple. Like, all I gotta do is this.
All I gotta do is go to school and play basketball and try to get pussy.
Dude,
I gotta crouch.
Just living
the second chapter sucks ass.
Yeah, at least the start. Once I get into it, we'll be all right. But let's just be honest here. The first part, yeah.
You're like,
sucked.
now I'm encumbered by options, and like they don't tell me what to do. Damn it!
Right, like I have to figure this shit out now. Fuck. Well, let's be honest here. We all have those learning curves, like,
Yeah, that's that.
I'm learning it now with the house. I've had some dumb shit happen.
You figure out real quick. It's
all on me now.
You find out real quick in RuneScape that fishing for lobster or fishing for shrimp isn't very lucrative in life. You're
right.
Like, I gotta start fishing some lobsters.
Right.
You just figure it out. And it's actually really silly. I won't go really far down this road, but RuneScape has taught me. It sounds super fucking gross saying.
No,
this.
say it.
No.
Say it, please.
So RuneScape, I came up with this own thought process, and I haven't told anybody this, but RuneScape has taught me more about life and more about myself than like a lot of things have, because you find out who you are on RuneScape because it doesn't tell you what to do. You just find out what you want to do, and it's such simple shit as. So when I was younger and I was playing RuneScape, I found out really quick that like what I was doing was when I didn't have money before like our recent interaction with RuneScape. I was going from skill to skill trying to find out which skill offered the fastest gold per hour so that I could farm gold to do the things in RuneScape that I wanted to do, whether it be quests or PKing or whatever. You're like, dude, fuck, I gotta cut lobsters, or it's not cut lobsters, cut willow trees for, like one whole day.
Yeah.
So I could build up 40K and then, I could go to these quests, or I could build I could build a new kit and I'd go PK until I lose or make more money, whatever. And I found like, I would, do some quest hopping because that was kind of fun, or I would do some money grinding so I could do the questing, so I could afford the spells and items that they require. And then that I often changed. I would go from rune crafting, too slow and a lot of running, and I hate the clicking, to lobsters are kind of good, but you have to run from Follower Bank to the port, to willows are cool, but it's super boring, to where like I kind of figured out like where I like changed which 3 I would do to make money all the time, because I got bored of doing one. And so I found one that was the most efficient, only because I wanted the money to do the things that I wanted to do in RuneScape. And so I found out who I was as a person, that like I'm very I'm unsettled on doing one thing. I have to change it. I'm also driven to make the fastest amount of money that I can. Literally what we talked about.
Yeah.
Hey, I want the financial freedom to do what I want.
Exactly.
So we
That's
got
it.
back into RuneScape.
I will do
the
the
beginning
grind
of
and
the
make
pandemic.
the
Beginning of the
we
pandemic.
got back into RuneScape, and you know what I finally did? I was like, dude, I'm a grown man. I have money. And you know what I did? I went and bought $40 million in RuneScape money. And then from that point on, instead of having to worry about how much money I had, I started doing dumb shit like playing Slayer and not worrying about the runes that I had,
Yep.
or going to these places and working up this skill without worrying about the money I needed to spend to acquire it as fast as possible,
Yep.
and doing all these quests that I couldn't do, or traveling to these regions that I
Yep.
couldn't afford. And I was like, wow, this like kind of taught me a lot. Like,
I have a phone game like that. Yeah.
once I was given
Yeah,
the
I
money,
do it now.
it didn't ruin
It's
my
sick.
experience. It just
'Cause I have
allowed me to
cash.
do the things, and I skipped the fat of having to generate the money to
Yeah,
do them.
Exactly. We used to do it the prehistoric way.
Or people would be like Noah, literally, and like I've even compared Noah to what he's doing in life, where like Noah just kind of like made do. Like he was never like, oh, well, I'm not good enough, or oh, I gotta farm more. Noah kind of played subpar. Like he was like half as far in levels and everything on me, but he had a good time. And like whatever he ended up doing when he was playing with people, he was like, I'm cool, you know. And then like, he would like play for a while, and he had a good time. And then like that's just kind of how Noah is a person. Like he didn't like go, oh, I need 99 wood cutting. Like a Jeff Bezos would be like, dude, I gotta max like at least 6 stats within 5 years, or I don't want to play this game anymore. Like that's he wants to max his stats. Whereas like, no, I want to like try some cool shit. And I like sampled a bunch of cool shit, played some mini games, you know, don't worry about the money that I needed to do them. Went and tried some mage training stuff. That was kind of cool. And like, I don't know, like I just learned a lot about the stuff like that makes me tick got applied to a video game, and then referencing my past experience on them kind of was like, dude, like
That's really cool. I never applied my
basically what
own
that means.
personal
Since he was good
experience
at botting, what Jake wants to do is start a business where other people make money and stats for him, and then he can do whatever he wants after he gets those. That's what Jake. That's what I learned from Jake, cause he like botting it because he's like, dude, I don't want to fucking kill ogres for 720 hours to get 99 strength. I'll just let this thing I paid $30 for do it, and then once it does it, then I'm gonna enjoy the benefits that I got from it. So that means that's what Jake needs to do in his life is find a way to
just hire people to do the
make
job
your own
for me.
restaurant.
I'm
And
an
I mean, that's
entrepreneur, just a bad one.
you'll figure it out. You'll find out how you're entrepreneurial.
The
but
more you're in a kitchen, the more you'll learn too.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So then
Yeah.
you'll know more
And
of
dude,
like
I've
how
actually-
it runs.
But then I disagree with that statement entirely when it comes to service, because I feel like when you invest in a restaurant, you're a part of the restaurant. Even if you're a CEO, unless it's a franchise, if you're a part of something that might be more personal, like Lucky Louie's, the person that owns that might not care because they have a beer distributor next to it. But the person that creates a gourmet hot dog place wants to make a good hot dog. They don't just want to like let someone else do it. Like that's their craft. We talked about making bread and the art craft that comes
Lucky
from
Louise is big in Erie.
wanting to like do that is something you'll never get away with. So Jake's so passionate about being in that flow state of cooking steaks and all these proteins and lobster at the same time that
That's just
dude,
an
he
example,
might even
dude. I've actually like messed with the thought of like just jumping out of my industry entirely and trying something new.
That's why I'm going for the CNC job now. I'm not
Diversity.
welding anymore. Yeah, I was like, you know,
Yeah,
what?
like I might
try
not have
something
the
different.
training.
I've been doing it for a while.
Yeah,
Try
I
something
have
different.
a 4-year degree in essentially like
There's the-
basic business and personnel management.
Oh shit. Okay.
And it's like I just want to
You could go
Try
run a
it.
FedEx. Not that you want to. I'm just saying.
I don't know. I'm kind of
Hey, you're looking for novelty, is what you're trying to.
we're figuring it out.
Yeah, we're
Well,
just past the tutorial.
well,
we're trying to switch from chopping willows to farming lobsters.
passed the tutorial.
And that.
Where's your Jimmy?
Oh, you're good. You're good. But yeah. So
You ready for the next question?
no, I'm.
Have we
ready to
satiated
fucking
that?
bed.
We're almost there. Okay, well, the next question is what was your media of the week?
Oh, I like the question.
Media is open-ended, by the way. And
know.
just to elaborate, mediums, it can be I've been drawing this, I've been playing this video game, I've been watching this, or I have been doing this.
I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima. You guys heard of that one?
Never have.
It's like
Is that your media of the week though?
yeah, because it's Assassin's Creed, but you're a samurai. And then the
I didn't know you
Mongols invade
gamed.
Japan.
I thought you were still like an NBA till I died.
Oh
kinda.
no, I still play 2K. Don't get me wrong. We can still ball out, but I was taking a break from 2K for right now.
You got me into 2K a little bit.
Dude, I'm into 2K. I'm into it, but yeah, I've been playing Ghost of Tsushima right now. It's dope.
So elaborate on Ghost of Tsushima. Never heard of it.
The Mongols are taking over the mainland of Japan, and they kill basically most of the samurais on the island you're on in a big first battle, but you somehow survive. And you're the Lord's son, so now you're getting close to the top, and now you're
fighting off the Mongols.
Yeah, fighting off the Mongols. It's just like
What's
Assassin's
the
Creed.
gameplay? So it's a free world type.
Assassin's Creed. You have the
Okay.
whole island you can go. You got different missions you can go
Okay.
for, main
That's
quests,
cool.
side quests.
Never heard of it.
Dude, really good game.
Cool.
I'm pretty sure I won awards.
Cool.
Yeah, look into it.
Ghost of Tsushima. That's cool.
Yeah, like
Nice.
I said, Assassin's Creed are just kind of like time wasting fun. Get your stats
Yeah.
up. You
It's
got like
busy
different.
work.
Yeah, you
Busy
got
work.
different weapons you can upgrade and stuff. And yeah,
Yeah, I mean that's fine. I mean, cool. I haven't been gaming much.
I've been
think-
putting time into
I
it.
think
Well,
it-
I haven't
Cayce, you
gamed.
need to get back.
I'm
into
I'm
gaming.
lucky if I get like 2 hours of gaming in a week. Like I've been pretty away from the computer because of what I've been doing. Like I was between sailing and motorcycle and whatever, and just without going too far into detail, just being busy.
Everyone always talks shit on it, but I enjoy that time I spend with it. Like,
Lauren,
you're
I mean-
wasting it. I'm like, no, I enjoy
No,
it.
I'm not anti-gaming at all.
No, I enjoy that time. People are like, oh, you're just sitting there. I'm like, well, if I just want to sit here.
The people that say that are the people that'll binge watch The House, you know,
Right,
or,
everyone,
or Scrubs, or
everyone
or
loves
Game
media.
of Thrones.
They have their form of it.
Yeah,
Or
yes.
even music. Some people are just sitting there looking up new artists and stuff.
Or they're painting. It's your form of media.
Yep.
So no, 100%. Like
That's good.
my mom always
That's why I
like,
said that, 'cause
you're
I'm
gonna
a
sit
ninja
there
right
and
now.
game and rot your brain away. And I'm like,
Look at me with Guitar Hero,
I'm
bro.
doing,
You know how
I'm
many
doing
years I
better
spent on
gaming
that?
than you are watching Game of Thrones because my brain's engaged in something that is a challenge, and I get into a flow state when it becomes
Right.
hard.
Right.
Whereas you're just watching some dude abuse opiates and like diagnose people after 24 hours.
My mom loves Law and Order, and I hate it.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm like, how do you watch this? I'm like, this is trash.
Some people like
My
justice.
and my mom goes nuts for it. She has like a crime show. She'll go. She used to like Bones for a while, and then she had different binges on different shows.
That's her media,
but
though. Is just watching.
I just don't get it. I'm like, why
Yeah.
do you watch
No,
that?
it's the same as the flow state.
I know, she enjoys
no,
it,
dude,
though.
and
I
shows.
don't- I don't think that's- you
Hang on,
think?
and shows and games,
Certain ones.
and it varies between
Some
the-
are
it-
good, and I'll rewatch, but some actually get.
Well, no, and that's exactly it. It gets you only certain ones, but for certain people, those get them. It strikes different heart chords or
One's
whatever,
Tropic
whatever the
Thunder.
hell.
I don't know why I've watched that movie. I don't know,
Dude,
a
that-
couple
same-
hundred times, but
Dude.
I love that movie.
Dude, same thing with
that movie
Interstellar
will,
for
no,
me.
but no movie will ever be allowed to be filmed like that for the last 3 years.
How did they cast Robert Downey Jr. as a black guy?
They will not be allowed.
I want to hear the pitch, because how do you sell that to him,
Dude, so
that
no,
is-
he was
that
about
is
it.
touchy.
No, listen. Do you not
That
listen to
dude-
Do you not listen to Joe Rogan?
No.
Okay, so Robert Downey Jr. was on Joe Rogan, and they had a conversation about that and how like it like.
I
So
wanna
he
know.
did that in like 2008, 2009,
Yeah.
whatever it was, and like he got backlash from that like in 2019. They were
Yeah.
like, "Dude, you played as a black guy," and they were trying to like cancel him. And he like had a conversation about it, and he was like, "Yeah, like that'll never happen again." Like a lot of those movies that like touch on those like cultural appropriation, like you'd
You
never be
can't
able to
anymore.
make fun of like like that was
I
think
love Dave
that was
Chappelle.
Thailand. That was Thailand. You never be able to make. Was it no? Sorry. Vietnam is Vietnam, I think. They would be like, you'd never be able to go there and like make fun of like a Vietnam kid that you were like babysitting. That was like his little whatever, and like all the shit they did, like, oh, this Vietnam country's poor, and all I do is watch one. Like you'd never be able to do that. Like even though it's just comedy and like don't take it too serious.
right.
They're creating a scenario that doesn't exist because
Right.
Vietnam isn't in what's the word? Like they're not a non-sophisticated country. They might
Right.
be simple or more farmer related, but they have major cities too that like
Right.
are culturally appropriate. But like if someone watched that nowadays, they'd be like, no, it's getting canceled.
Oh,
Like
Oh,
you're
yeah.
done. Your career's
Oh,
over. You're making fun of cultures.
Honestly, cancel culture annoys me because
That's
not
another topic in it.
Yeah.
It has
I
a good
don't like it.
basis, but it goes too far.
right. Like people take it too far. I'm not saying there are some stuff out there that need change. I'm not saying that there's not anything from history that just isn't appropriate for certain age groups or whatever. But just change the parental rating on it
Sure.
because you want
Or
to
just
preserve
raise
it in a
people
way.
to understand that this isn't necessarily making fun of their culture. It's just satire to be funny. Like,
I know. Like look at Dave Chappelle. Have you seen his old skits? I don't know how he
dude.
got away with that.
Dude,
Well, no, he came out with this
dude,
one special,
and where
his
I
most
wanted-
recent special. He hasn't done one since. The one,
I'm on Netflix.
yeah,
I watched.
and everybody
both. Yeah.
hated it, where he
Yeah.
literally called out like all this shit.
I thought it was
He was like,
hilarious,
he
but-
talked about the LGBTQ car, and he
Yeah.
was like, he's like whatever Zur in the back or whatever, and he just said it how it was, and he was like, dude, like you guys are taking this too far, and then like everybody was like, it was literally 50-50. It was like, fuck Dave Chappelle, cancel him, or wow, he really pointed out that people are taking, whatever. It was like there was no in between.
He did it well done. But like,
Comedians
yeah.
are supposed to do
and-
that.
But then
Yeah.
also what I like is he got backlash for it. And the second one he put on there, he started with the more LGBT thing. I thought it like,
He didn't
like
lay off.
dude, and
he didn't shy away from it.
It's hard in today's day and age with how it goes along with
People backdate stuff you did too.
well,
Right.
And that's exactly what I'm getting to is the just forward progression of
No
our-
one's perfect,
the forward progression of our society. It's
Shit that was acceptable 10 years ago would not even be
But
close
now-
to 5% okay.
but now
and
it's
that's Tropic Thunder. It's like,
But
dude,
dude-
that's not okay now.
but I love that movie.
yeah,
I
but
do.
Casey, Alex, it's just getting fast forwarded.
Yeah.
Right.
To like in today's day and age, it's
Social justice.
yeah, sure. It's what's wrong. What was like okay today was messed
Some
up.
fireworks
Like
outside.
yeah, fireworks outside. It was wrong like a month ago or a year ago.
Yeah.
It's becoming a lot more.
Or now it's wrong in the last 3 years, but it was okay
It's
10
becoming a
years
lot
ago.
more
And they're dragging
quick
it
to
into the
happen.
present.
Right. It's like, okay.
But it's
Yes.
also touchy because like
It
slavery
is touchy.
slavery wasn't cool that long ago, and so it's still not cool today. But like I don't know, that's a different conversation.
Well, okay, because I honestly I don't know if I want to get in a podcast about that stuff.
yeah,
Because,
because it's getting a little too serious.
yeah, I mean because that whole thing I can't even touch on because let's be honest here.
Well, no, like,
Yeah,
like-
because
yeah,
like
it's not- that's not the one-
because I can go into a job and someone's gonna look at me. I'm a clean cut white dude, and they're probably not gonna have any bias against it.
Oh yeah, it's
on,
still
on
a
higher
struggle.
percentage. You
it's
know,
still a
so I
struggle
have
for
never dealt
minorities
with
today.
it. I've never dealt with it, so I can't really speak
Right,
on. I
right,
can speak on
right.
what I felt because of my race. Playing basketball, don't get me wrong. You had to be decent being the white kid. So I've been on some receiving sides. Don't get me wrong, but very little compared to some other races.
So that's
I
so
can't sit here.
it's
and
so
talk on it at
relevant to
all.
my thought process a week ago. I forget where I was, but I was watching. I think I was at a restaurant and there was a ball game on, and I forget which team
I just
it
hate
was.
how it's always the
Or-
first thing that's brought up. It's why
But
is
literally
it,
because
why is it
you-
African American?
you just said that.
You're the first American to do this. Because like we're all American. We're so intermixed.
Well, hold on. Let
I'm a mutt,
me really
so-
calm this down from serious a little bit. But I was literally watching a basketball game. I forget it was college or professional, but it was like I'm always like when I watch a basketball game, I'm like, oh, there's a white guy like on the team,
Right.
You know, and
You
you're
know what
like,
I mean?
you're like,
It's-
wow, and it's like I'm not. I'm not being that guy. I think there's a reason why a
Or
lot of
like football.
African Americans will dominate it because they're just people will pull their race is just superior. Like their genetics are just a lot better and they're a lot stronger and faster or whatever, and that's fine. Like I'm not gonna say, I'm not gonna pull any
It's
kind of
not why.
racial appropriation into it. But
No,
I've seen
because
people
every
hold
player earned it, so I
Right.
can't say anything about them. You could be whatever race.
Dude,
nationality,
Deladova is white as
religion.
shit, and he
had
earned
to earn
every
it,
amount of
man.
minute. But it's always crazy because like it seems like a lot of African American individuals will
Are putting-
outpace
those in there.
What's that?
Where we were putting these.
Yeah, just leave them there for now. A lot of African American individuals will outpace white people and Caucasians. I'm going to keep it politically correct. And, I'm not here to draw the lines on why that is. I think I just assume that maybe their genetics are stronger. But it's just always interesting when you see a sport where, like, they're competitively better. And then it's like, oh, cool. Like, on a court of 10 people, it's like there's 2 white guys. And it's like, all right, well, like, they're fitting in,
I mean, I don't know. I mean, like I said, everybody earns what they have. So that's why I said it's really not about nationality. Basketball is huge in China. There's more international players in basketball right now in the NBA than you can really think. Most players are from a different country because this is a professional league. It's about making money. They don't care where you're from.
Why does the USA just absolutely squash any competition in the Olympics, though?
Well, I mean, not every year. They did lose, and guess
Did
what?
they? I don't know, but I've always heard they dominate.
They lost one, but the year after that's where they brought LeBron, Kobe, Dwayne Wade, and Carmelo Anthony. They just dominated. They didn't lose. No game was close.
Walked on them.
After we lost, because we've won it basically ever since it's been there. When they lost, that next one,
like,
the
no
USA didn't mess around. They came in and they dominated.
Like our sport.
But then ever since then, because Paul George got hurt the one year, so now the really top players making top money, their teams are like, look, we're paying you $40 million a year. You're not playing in the Olympics and maybe getting hurt.
I don't know why, but I always really liked the Pacers and Paul George. Like, I've always been, like, on the side.
I'm a Pistons fan. I will go on record. I hate the Indiana Pacers. There ain't no way I'm getting down with that.
I don't know.
But Paul George, now that he doesn't play for them now.
Yeah. So I don't know enough. I don't know enough
about
about, like, basketball to really hold a conversation against who's good, who's not. I know a little bit about some old school stuff just from talking.
The Malice in the Palace,
talking
baby. I cannot
documentaries.
stand the Pacers.
But so, like, there's a couple things that I like in basketball. Like, I love how the Spurs run shit. Like, I love how, like, that coach does things and whatnot. But for some reason, when I got into basketball, for some reason, I really liked the Pacers. For some reason, I loved Paul George. And then
He's a cool dude.
Always when I played basketball too, I loved C.J. Watson on the bench back in the years when he was on the Pacers. And he was like,
he was money from 3 though.
So that's why I loved him.
He was money.
So
Money.
his rating was like a lot of people will rate A to B in like the starting bench if they're a decent team, and then like Watson was like a C minus.
But his
3-point when you played like him off
Money.
bench and played it right, like his 3 was like Danny Green on the Spurs
It
or
was
like
just
Curry,
money.
and it was like
Money.
this guy'd come out and it would be like why is this guy making everything? And not only did he make everything in the game, they choreographed his shot so well that like there was something about it just looking good that like you could always hit the release perfectly. And like his shot to this day, like I could visualize like there's like a Larry Bird shot and you're like, okay, it's going in, but it looks like the guy
The Bird.
it looks like this guy like did back court like double arm, like did this weird girl shot and like it goes in. Cool, like that's great. He nails it from 3 to mid, and then Watson comes out and it looks like it was like if God was like, this is how a shot's supposed to look. And that's how Watson's 3 looked, and it was like bang. Before me segue into that real quick, right, and you can go back to it. So I found out when I didn't know this until I found out later. When McGregor was gonna verse Floyd Mayweather,
the
he
Draymond
wore
Green
the
thing.
CJ Watson jersey.
And then Draymond Green got mad.
And I didn't understand why. And I think, what was it, like Watson had an affair with Mayweather's wife or something like that? Was that what it was?
No.
You might know better.
No, so Mayweather just wore it to the fight just
Why
to have
Watson?
it on. It was just a random jersey. He just liked the color on it. But then Draymond Green.
But the color's the same for anybody on the Pacers. So why did he choose Watson?
No,
He didn't do that on accident.
No. He had C.J. Watson when he was playing for the Warriors jersey. It was a Warriors.
Oh, was it a
jersey.
Warriors?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It was because C.J. Watson played for multiple teams.
Yeah.
So he's playing for the Warriors, and he was number 23. Well, he just wore it to the fight just to have on. Draymond Green commented that he didn't like him wearing it
Why?
because he doesn't like McGregor. He's not. They just don't get along.
And then do with the Watson jersey?
Well, no, that was the funny part, because then he comments back. He's like, hey, I don't even know who you are, kid. I'm just wearing this for show. He's like, it's not even your name on the back. He's like, I beat people's heads off the mat for a living. You know, he's just like he just
So
went after him.
I thought I read like a thing or an article or a thread where it was like that Watson had an affair with Mayweather's wife or something, so that he was trying to get in his head or something. Unless that was fabricated.
No, I don't remember that. I mean, I do remember Delonte West getting with LeBron James's mom, though.
Okay, so I don't have a Jamie, the Joe Rogan podcast, look into this, but that thread I remember reading was that he wore it because I think there was like a flib with Mayweather or something.
I never heard it.
It might not be real. It might have just been a clickbait or something.
But
I think C.J. Watson.
Oh wait,
had
you're
an-
saying C.J. Watson
had an affair
sex
with Mayweather's wife.
Okay, maybe.
And
that.
so
Maybe.
McGregor was wearing it to like be like,
Maybe.
yo, we're ripping this end of this dude that fucked your wife.
Maybe. I don't know.
I don't know
I do
if
know
it's
Draymond
true.
Green came after him after, but
I
I don't know the story why he wore the C.J. Watt.
Yeah,
Or
okay.
CJ,
If
yeah.
it's the colors or
Jersey.
something, but like I said, Watson is a second string.
Hey, sorry for the abrupt cutoff on this conversation. I don't know why, but there seemed to be an episode missing, and it didn't quite make sense to me, but I couldn't locate it, so it could have been technical errors. So I'm sorry for that. There wasn't a whole lot more after this anyways, if I remember correctly, because he kept getting pretty tired. He's a working man. So, yeah, hope you enjoyed the episode.